You're watching Sunday Afternoon on Scottish, and now live football coverage with Scott Sport.
The fine sight of the new Easter Road as we're only half an hour away from kick-off in the first Edinburgh derby of the season. Will Hibs continue their impressive start to the league campaign, or can Hearts change their fortunes and return to dominance over their oldest rivals? Good afternoon to you and welcome to Scott Sport. With me here in the studio to give us their expert views, Hearts club captain Craig Levein, still out with a long-term injury, and former Hibs, Barcelona and Aberdeen striker Steve Archibald. Craig, first of all, what progress are you making with this injury?
Yeah, everything's come along fairly nicely. Had a fairly traumatic time the night that the injury happened, and I thought I had a serious cruciate ligament problem, but it's turned out not to be the case.
And you thought you might be out for as long as a year, I believe?
At first, yeah, I thought I was. But after speaking to the specialist, Peter Scott in Glasgow, he's assured me that I'll be back in probably about another month from now. Well,
that's good news. Steve, life at East Fife, you're going well, top of the second division.
Yes, long way to go. We're delighted to be there, we enjoy it, makes everything easier, training's easier, and it's great, yeah.
Are you enjoying it?
Being at the top of the league, I'm enjoying.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's hard work, is it, Steve?
It's, no, right now it's not, because we're at the top of the league, and as I said, everything's easy when you're at the top of the league, and you seem to get the breaks when you're at the top of the league and not at the bottom of the league, and I can't complain.
And I know you hate talking about it, but from the new camp to Bayview, how does that feel?
Well, I've heard that 100 times, and as I was saying earlier, it's more difficult going up. Sometimes it's more difficult going up the way than it is coming down the way, because you've got no pressure. There's nothing really to live up to. When you're going up the way, it's a lot more difficult.
OK. Well, the match coming up in just over 25 minutes, and we'll have the Scott Sport Forum live from Easter Road as well. And you can have your go at Jerry and his guests on 0500 404 000. The lines are open now. Plus, we've got all the best league action coming up for you this afternoon.
Rangers notch up their second victory over Celtic in 11 days as Gaza broke his league duck. Motherwell picked up their first league win of the season as Killie slumped to their 5th consecutive defeat. The Dons showed they're a power to be reckoned with as they crushed Wraith Rovers. John Lambie returned to Firhill and was lucky to come away with a point. United won a 5-goal cracker in the Tayside derby. And Kenny came to the Kingdom of Fife to see the Pars get back to their winning ways.
Well, Aberdeen have been rejuvenated this season, a place in the Coca-Cola Cup semi-finals and sitting 4th in the league before yesterday's game. It makes it look as though things are coming right for Roy Aitken, and he had new £800,000 signing Paul Bernard sitting on the bench if he needed another boost. They face European heroes Wraith Rovers as they gear up for a clash with Bayern Munich.
Rovers will have to work hard to keep their minds away from the millionaires of Bayern Munich, but in this showing they're finding it mighty tough. They were slow to close down Joe Miller, the ball coming off the bar, an early escape for Rovers. No place in the starting lineup for Theo Snelders. Again it was Michael Watt in his place, but he was playing the role there of Bruce Grobbelaar. Although I'm not sure if he predicted this scoreline, because Aberdeen opened the scoring after just 6 minutes. McKimmie to Dodds. And then his side foot pass for Scott Booth. And suddenly it was 1-0 for the Dons. Scott Booth in great form this season. The Rovers' defence now make a real mess of things. But Scott Booth on this occasion failing to capitalise. Now a chance for the Wraith Rovers. Coming forward, a little flick from Stevie Crawford, and Jason Dare with that effort. That's their best so far. But Aberdeen, unlike last season, were in no mood to throw away the points. Good control from Scott Booth. Looks up for the cross. Joe Miller's there. 2-0 for Aberdeen. Rovers still caused them problems though. A moment of anxiety now for Aberdeen. Barry Wilson launching a ball, and the deflection wasn't too far away. Another great chance for Aberdeen now. The cross. Knocked out. Thompson should have held it. Billy Dodds missing a real sitter. But the third goal finally came in the 71st minute. And it was the fans' favourite, Scott Booth, the one to watch for. The ball fired in from the left. Scott Booth says, thanks a million. Aberdeen 3, Raith Rovers 0.
All right, well, we'll take a short break now, but as we build up to the big game at Easter Road, join us again for more goals from the Bells Premier League.
You cease to...
Welcome back. An indifferent start to the season for Motherwell saw them in the unusual position of being unbeaten in the league but still looking for their first win. At Fir Park they took on a Kilmarnock side in the doldrums without a point and up for sale.
Kilmarnock, determined to get their first league points of the campaign, came closest to scoring in the early exchanges. Paul Wright denied by that fine save by Scott Howie. The little striker Wright was proving quite a handful for the Motherwell defenders in the early stages, and perhaps he should have done better there. But it was Motherwell who opened the scoring, and it was bad defensive play again, which was to cost Kilmarnock dearly. As they've done so often this season, they failed to clear their lines. Paul Lambert doing ever so well. He sees Tommy Coyne, and he slips it past the goalkeeper. 1-0, Motherwell. Six minutes into the second half, and Motherwell effectively sealed the tie. Coyne setting up Dougie Arnott. The low cross found Eddie May. Easy for Motherwell. And the home side added to their misery shortly afterwards. From the corner kick, a crazy penalty given away. Neil Whitworth handles. Spot kick. Inexplicably, the defender handles the ball as it comes in from Rob McKinnon. He clearly palms it. No other decision but a penalty kick. And who else but Tommy Coyne stepped up. Quick shimmy, and it's 3-0 to Motherwell. Killie tried to get back into the match, but really it was a lost cause. But you can't fault Tom Brown for effort. Good work in the midfield. Getting the return ball, but no problem there for Scott Howie. Then in the final minute of play, some more action. But sadly for Kilmarnock, no consolation goal. It was a well-worked move though, starting with Lekovic, seeing a space down the left. Gary Holt going on the overlap. Tom Brown is always getting into good position. He gets in the header, but just over the bar, touching the crossbar. No joy for Kilmarnock.
Well, the managerial merry-go-round of the summer was in focus at Firhill. Ex-Thistle boss John Lambie returning to his old stamping ground, looking for his first win, while Murdo MacLeod was hoping the Jags could get back in the rails after a dreadful performance at Starks Park just last week.
After last week's defeat at Raith Rovers, Thistle hoped for better things when Falkirk visited Firhill, and they should have gone ahead in the early stages when Parks missed McKee's cross, but Callum Milne failed to capitalise on the error. Falkirk's first chance in this game came as a result of another goalkeeping blunder. Walker flapped there at the cross, and Derek Ferguson's header was just off target. The best chance of this half came deep into injury time. Clark set up Stevie Fulton, who ran at the Thistle defence before unleashing a 30-yard shot which went narrowly wide. So no goals at this stage, but the second half was only 5 minutes old when Thistle took the lead. Poor control from David Weir allowed Andy Gibson the chance to cross, and when Parks and Turner collided, Albert Craig was on hand to score. 1-0 Thistle, and Craig continues his amazing goal-scoring record. But while the Jags celebrated, Tony Parks lay in agony. Watch again as Turner challenges for the ball with Parks before Craig's goal. The keeper tries to get to his feet, but he can't. And Craig put Thistle ahead. The injury looked serious, and so it proved, as Parks was stretchered from the field. And Steve Kirk took over in goal. So Falkirk with their problems. The loss of their keeper seemed to spur the Bairns on though, and 5 minutes later they were awarded a penalty kick. Steve Welsh adjudged to have fouled Paul McGrillen. The Thistle players furious at the decision. Looking at it again, well, perhaps they had a case. That was of no concern to Maurice Johnson, who beat Walker with a well-taken penalty kick. 1 each. But the draw suited neither side, and both went looking for the winner. And with 10 minutes remaining, Falkirk almost got it. Weir set up Johnson. His shot was deflected onto a post by Steve Welsh, with Walker helpless. At the other end, substitute keeper Steve Kirk rescued the Bairns, holding Turner's driven free kick at the second attempt. Good on him. 1 each it finished.
And time for another short break, but when we come back, join us for the build-up to the big one, the Edinburgh Derby, live from Easter Road. Welcome back. Let's go straight over to Paul Cooney, live now at Easter Road with the team news. Paul.
Jim, a tremendous atmosphere downstairs. We're just outside the dressing room. For Hearts, I can tell you, Craig Nelson will play, and for Hibs, Gordon Hunter is fit. Michael Neal's with me, and Dave McPherson. Dave, you know about the Glasgow Derby. What about this atmosphere?
Yeah, it's the first derby of the season, and everybody's looking forward to it. It's important to get a good result to start off.
3 games, you've lost. Is it going to be 4 today, or how do you feel after your days away down in Durham?
Yeah, everybody's confident. It was a bad week, but everybody goes through a bad week in football. Hopefully we can pick up from today's result.
You're going to do it for Hearts this afternoon?
Well, I hope so.
Michael, for Hibs, you could go second top if you get a win this afternoon.
That's right. We haven't thought too much about that, really. We're just really concerned about beating Hearts today. That's the main thing in our mind. And we'll look at the league table at 20-5.
Not too many injury problems. Hearts have an unusual lineup for them. Are you feeling confident?
I think so. We've been playing well, particularly away from home, so hopefully we can carry that in our home form now, and we're fairly confident.
Some people have said this can be boring, this derby. Do you think it will be today?
I hope not. I think that's a bit harsh.
OK, so you think it's going to be Hibs, and obviously going for Hearts. Good atmosphere in the dressing room.
Of course, good atmosphere.
Right, we'll be joining you in the dressing rooms in a few minutes. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Back to you.
Thanks, Paul. Well, the fortunes of both Edinburgh clubs have changed dramatically over the last few years. Hearts have gone from title challengers to relegation dogfighters, while Hibs have recovered from the brink of bankruptcy, and they're now beginning to look the part.
After only 4 games, Hibs seem to be mounting a real challenge in the league. They won convincingly here at Rugby Park against Kilmarnock, and the goals are coming thick and fast. They're a side playing with confidence right now, and that man Keith Wright is right on top of his game. Darren Jackson's penalty saw off the champions at Ibrox. So things going well. But down Gorgie way is very much a different story. Another new manager, Jim Jeffries, seemed to breathe new life into the club at first, but comprehensive defeats at the hands of Thistle, and here with Celtic, as well as a Coca-Cola Cup exit to First Division Dundee, has sounded a warning even this early in the season that Hearts may well be relegation candidates once again. Things aren't going well all round. How the power balance has changed in Edinburgh over the last 5 years. Then it was Hearts who were on top, and under Chairman Wallace Mercer they even threatened the very existence of the Easter Road Club. The famous Hearts takeover bid threatened to kill off the name of Hibernian for good, but instead it seemed to rekindle the kind of passion for the club that had been lacking. The hands-off Hibs campaign brought Leith to life, and Mercer felt the backlash.
So I care desperately for football, I care desperately for Hearts Football Club, but I care even more desperately for my family. And to see bricks going through windows, to see police and all-night guard and Alsatian dogs, I say to myself, what are we at?
At Easter Road, Messrs Duff and Gray didn't last long. Quick-fit boss Tom Farmer came in with some cash, while Chairman Duff ended up in the nick. Only 1 season later, Hibs brought silverware back to the capital. They'd won the League Cup, they'd beaten Dunfermline, they were back in action and back in Europe. Over at Tynecastle, Wallace Mercer's ambition saw him dispose of the man who had taken them from First Division obscurity. Alex MacDonald, it seemed, hadn't achieved enough for the club. He was replaced by Joe Jordan, who came up from England to take the job. But from this point, the managerial position at Tynecastle was distinctly a temporary appointment. Frustrated by a lack of cash to improve the team, Joe Jordan was off after 2 seasons. His replacement coach, Sandy Clark, lasted just over 1, having saved the Jambos from relegation in the last match against Thistle. Clark was replaced by Tommy McLean in an attempt to show that the club did still have ambition, but boardroom politics and near relegation limited that relationship to 1 season. After much public soul-searching, Jim Jeffries returned to Tynecastle as manager. But new boss, old problem, no cash. Hearts already struggling. But ironically, throughout these dark days, Hearts still managed to put one over on their old rivals. Time and again, the Tynecastle side ran out winners against Hibs. And on occasion, the goals were quite dramatic. The hoodoo for Hibs was there for all to see. But last season, they broke it, winning 3 out of 4 Edinburgh derbies. Hibs were back, and they were looking good against their city rivals. And the goals the fans had waited so long for, they were back in numbers. Invariably, it was that man Darren Jackson who proved to be the real scourge of the Hearts defence. He and Michael O'Neill combining well. So, today's Edinburgh derby, just as important to both sides as ever. Let's hope for a cracker.
Yeah, let's hope so. Well, just a few minutes till we go over to Easter Road for live coverage. Steve, what about your old club Hibs? Do you fancy them today?
I'd have to say they're favourite. I think especially with Hunter coming back in, it will release McGinley to get forward, and he's always a danger. I would take them to be favourite, yeah.
And Darren Jackson's going well, isn't he? Even this early in the season.
Yeah, he always causes trouble for the opposition. I don't see today being any different.
Craig, you're not going to fancy Hibs, are you?
Certainly not, no. I think, looking at the team here, and I see the manager's gone for experience. I think Colin Miller coming back into the team after being out for a while, and of course Gary Mackay coming back in as well.
So you fancy Hearts?
I do, and I'm hoping for John Robertson's sake that he scores again today, because he's sitting on the same number of goals as the Hearts legend Willie Bald. And
okay.
He told me to give him a plug.
And you have.
Was that Willie Bald or Archibald?
Well done, Steve.
Sorry about that.
Well, the waiting is nearly over. Let's go to Easter Road live now. Hibernian against Hearts. Match commentator Jerry McNee.
Well, this is a significant day for Hibernian Football Club as they open the new stands fully for the first time on and off the park. The club is progressing, just 5.5 years after a hostile takeover bid by Hearts. And now it's the Tynecastle club, which is struggling on and off the field. Debts are high, and there's no significant cash to be spent on new players. I spoke to Jim Jeffries, the Hearts manager, just about half an hour ago, and he was bemoaning that fact. And no matter how good a manager is, he does need some money to spend. Well, alongside me is Charlie Nicholas.
Yes, good afternoon, Jerry. I really think this game is starting to grow up. I think the two teams in particular, the strong parts of the game is really attacking. I think people have mentioned this as a boring derby in the past, but today I expected both teams to be going for goals, and I think it'll be a cracker.
Let's go back now to Paul Cooney at the Hibs dressing room.
Thanks, Jerry. Here we are just going into the Hibs dressing room. 3 minutes to the big kick-off, and now the players ready. The green and white strips are there. Jim Leighton, the Scotland goalkeeper, having a chat there with some of the younger players. Pat McGinley, who knows all about the derby through in Edinburgh. How's everybody feeling for the match? Right, how are you feeling, Pat?
Magic, thanks.
What do you think this afternoon? You could go second top.
Well, be a good performance, hopefully, and hopefully we can go second top.
What's Alec Miller saying to you?
Slaughtered us.
Everybody, Gordon Hunter, of course, has made it, and he's delighted to be fit for the big game. So that's what's happening. There's Alec Miller. We must speak to the manager. Alec, normally you don't say too much in match days, but how are you feeling at the moment?
Well, we're feeling confident in the sense that
The performance level up to now has been good, so hopefully we can carry on today.
They want the two teams to come out together, guys, so if you will come out together, that's the message there from the police. Let's hope to have a great spectacle this afternoon.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks very much. That's the Hibs dressing room. We're just going to go a few yards now through to the Hearts dressing room. Jim Jeffries was having a final team talk just a moment ago. And yeah, he's doing well. You can hear them there. They're shouting, come on. It's just down a few yards now. There's the ball boys and boy girls as we have nowadays, getting ready for the big match. You can see them there. A very special day for them. So we're in the corridors here at Easter Road, and let's see what the atmosphere is like now in the Hearts dressing room. The teams are just about to be called. There's the Hearts players just about to come down the tunnel, live on Scottish television. There they are, Dave McPherson, the skipper. Jim Jeffries has had his final team talk. They're coming down. John, you feeling okay? He's feeling good. Gary Mackay knows him so well. Alan Lawrence, special day for him. Brian Hamilton, the former Hibs man, as well, coming down. And inside the dressing room, Jim Jeffries. Quick word, Jim, just before we go out. Billy Brown there. Your first derby, Jim, back as manager. How are you feeling?
Looking forward to the game. You know, there's been a good spirit the last couple of days after a wee bit down after a bad week. But you know, we played well prior to that week, and we're trying to get back to that. So a good win today would put us back on the rails.
Is this pressure, being in a derby again back in Edinburgh?
No pressure. This is where you want to be, and great games to take part in. And there's no motivation really needed. So you know what's at stake. There's a lot of rivalry between the two clubs. So we just hope for a good game, and Hearts come out top.
Jim, thanks very much. All the best. Back to you, Jerry, upstairs.
Well, I'm glad Paul had his compass with him there. And let's have a look now at the Hibernian lineup this afternoon. And Hibs go into this game without Kevin Harper, who's suspended. But Gordon Hunter, as you heard there from Paul, the club captain, is back after injury. And Gareth Evans gets a starting place. And there's no doubt his direct play will worry Hearts. And a look at the Hearts lineup. And they go into the game without Scott Leach, who's suspended after being ordered off against Celtic last week. David Winnie comes back, and Jim Jeffries really rings the changes with places for Colin Miller and George Wright. So the team's coming onto the field to a tremendous atmosphere at the new Easter Road. Two magnificent new stands built, and the little mascots coming on there. Christina Crome, who is a granddaughter of the Hibernian chairman, and Scott Wright, who's the son of Keith Wright of Hibs, and that's John Robertson's little lads there. So a real family day out. And both sets of players break away to salute the fans who are in fine voice. Today is the 61st Premier Division fixture between the clubs. Hearts have the upper hand of 123, Hibs have won just 12. This is in the Premier Division. And significantly, Charlie, 25 have been drawn.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. I think for so long Hibs have been trying to get this victory against Hearts. Finally last season it came good for them. We got a couple of victories against Hearts. And especially at the moment with Hearts having so many of their problems really in defence. Hibs' strength is attacking. But I think Hibs will be very confident. I was very interested watching the both teams warm up today. And Hibs looked very relaxed and very sure of themselves. There was a bit more tension looking in the Hearts' faces. And I'll be interested to see how this game's going to start.
Well, the referee is Willie Young from Clarkson. And his linesman today, Alistair Hewitt from Edinburgh, who's on the main stand side, and Norman Carnegie from Larkhall, just below our commentary position. There's John Robertson, who has a special record in this derby match. 22 goals he scored against Hibernian, and he's chasing a special record again this afternoon. He's looking to overtake Willie Ball's league record. There's Jim Leighton, the Hibernian goalkeeper, who of course has played in 2 World Cups for Scotland, Mexico 86 and Italia 90, and now looking forward to Euro 96. And he's been ever present this season, and it's a big afternoon for him and all of these players out here. So it will be Hearts to kick off down the Easter Road slope. There have been changes here, but the slope is still with us. And the sun's shining now. When Charlie and I arrived here a couple of hours ago, there was a monsoon, but thankfully that's passed by for the present. So away we go in an important match for both sides. As you heard Paul Cooney say earlier, Hibs can go second top today. Hearts really have to dig themselves out of the lower half of the league. And there's an early test for Jim Leighton, and that's behind for the goal kick. Well, Jim Leighton at full stretch. He managed to just get that one away. And the ball eventually come off Brian Hamilton and went behind for the goal kick. So Hearts posting early notice. And they know they've got to do something significant here this afternoon. They're sitting on 4 points after 4 games. Third bottom of the table. That's Love playing it through. And Gareth Evans. But slipping it.
I think we can return to Easter Road just as soon as we can. I tell you what, Steve, in the meantime, that was a good start for the Hearts. Hamilton came very close.
Yeah, I think it could maybe the wind factor may have caused that problem. I think it was a great cross in first of all, and I think maybe the wind caught Jim out a little bit. And I think it was Hamilton that got on the end of it.
Hamilton,
but I think it just came a little bit fast for him, and he couldn't get the direction on it.
It would have been a nice start for your club, Craig.
Yeah, it would have been a great start. Alan Lawrence, it was good to see him get in the wide area, take people on, and 30 seconds into the game we've had a chance. It augurs quite well for the rest of the game.
OK, well, I think we can go back over to Easter Road and rejoin Jerry.
Well, Hearts forcing the corner kick as you rejoin us. So that break in transmission, but there certainly have been weather problems here today. There's been a lot of rain, and it has caused us problems. So this is Lawrence preparing to take this kick. David McPherson is right on the goal line, standing in front of Jim Leighton. Again, it's very windy, and it'll be difficult for defenders. And David Winnie coming in there, joining the attack. So Alan Lawrence swinging it in. And David Winnie getting contact.
It's been a marvellous start by Hearts, Jerry. They've had 2 chances already in the first few minutes, and they look very positive. Hibs at the moment just look, actually they look a little bit nervous, they haven't settled. The Hearts have started really aggressively and really positively. Good signs for Hearts.
So Leighton strikes it forward, McGinley wins it, it's returned by Hamilton. It was Tweed initially, and then Graham Love sending it forward for Keith Wright to chase. And it's David McPherson conceding the throw-in. Cole Hart centre back in his second spell now with the Tynecastle club. So Gareth Evans being forced back. And certainly Hearts have the bit between their teeth at the moment. That's Locke playing it forward. It's returned by Chris Jackson. And comes McPherson. It's returned by Darren Jackson. So Craig Nelson, who holds his place on the side this afternoon, coming well out of his area. The goalkeeping position has been a difficult one for Hearts this season. And both keepers, Nelson and Henry Smith, trying to find some form. So despite the fact Hearts lost 4-0 to Celtic last week, and Hibernian went and won at Ibrox for the first time in 5 years, the derby matches are always quite different. And Hearts, who you thought might be struggling a bit in this game, certainly carrying the game towards Hibernian. It's a bit challenge going in from Chris Jackson and David Hagan. So the free kick to Hearts just on the halfway line. And Jim Jeffries took the players south of the border for a few days after 3 successive defeats. And certainly on the early evidence for a good team talk, and they're really up for this game today. They do have a good record here at Easter Road, despite recent form. Jostling going on there just outside the area, and the referee stepping in, David Hagan, just out of shot, has taken a knock, and one of the Hibs players on the ground as well, just down behind Jim Leighton and the referee. So a real battle going on for possession, and a couple of knocks taken. But an encouraging start, Charlie, for Hearts.
Yeah, I think it's encouraging. Hibs at the moment haven't really settled. They haven't got the ball down and made any significant passes yet. Michael O'Neill yet has hardly touched the ball, and I think he's probably the real creator in the wide left position for them. Hearts, on the other hand, have been positive. They've been running at people. But the last couple of minutes especially, I think there's been a few heavy tackles, the typical derby tackles that always come in, and I think Hibs obviously trying to get themselves settled down now.
Well, I can tell you that while all of that treatment was being administered, Alan Lawrence was shown the yellow card. That puts him under a bit of pressure. Gordon Hunter has recovered. He was a Hibernian player who was injured, and now David Hagan seems to be none the worse for his situation. So Alan Lawrence shown the yellow card, and Jim Leighton restarts the game. It's headed through there by Graham Love, and free kick awarded to Hibernian. It was against Winnie for his challenge in Evans, but Hearts are in here again pushing down the slope. And went through there by Winnie, and he's giving chase. Hunter's with him all the way. And it's Hibernian's ball.
Yeah, I didn't see much in that at all, Jerry, to be honest. A bit of pushing and pulling by both of them, really. I think Hunter probably was going to get the ball, but I didn't think it was necessarily a free kick, to be honest.
So blustery win getting up again. Quite difficult for the players. This is Gareth Evans for Hibernian. Well, a bit of misunderstanding there between Hagan and Colin Miller, but Miller gets it away. Return by Hunter. McPherson's under pressure from Gareth Evans, and that's a free kick against Evans. Went in rather strongly. McPherson certainly fouled there. Same down towards Hagan. So it's Chris Jackson who got in the header. Now it's Hunter. Heathright just misses that one. That's returned by Gary Locke. Played at a hectic pace. This is Hibs now breaking through. Pat McGinley playing it wide. It's picked up by Graham Love. This is O'Neill. Good play by him, taking on Gary Locke. McPherson comes across to provide the cover. And a good challenge by David McPherson. Well, the referee will have to keep a close watch on things here. Some hefty challenges being made in these early stages. This is Stephen Tweed. Now it's Love. Again, it's McPherson clearing. Only as far as O'Neill. Back to Love. This is McGinley. Heathright. And the shot going in there from Darren Jackson. So Hibs starting to push forward more and more here. This is Tweed breaking out of defence. Challenge all the way by Hamilton. Good play this by Stephen Tweed. And he wins the corner kick. It was Gary Locke who slid in to send the ball behind. So Hibs starting to make their presence felt and giving their fans something to shout about. So Stephen Tweed stays well forward, as you would expect, and Gordon Hunter pushes forward for the set piece. Darren Jackson to take it, but a lot of movement inside the area. Keeper stays in his line. The ball goes just behind for the goal kick. So Pat McGinley, a player who scored a lot of goals for Hibs over the years, coming in there, the downward header, going just over the target.
That's a goal I think I would expect Pat McGinley really to hit the net there. He's done it so many times in the past. All started for me a couple of minutes ago when Michael O'Neill really get his first taste of the ball, and things start to happen for Hibs. Good movement by Tweed, and then McGinley having a good opportunity. Hibs now starting to settle down, Jerry.
And here they come again through Graham Love. He's just overrunning that one, keeps it in play though. Giving away. It's all a bit untidy at the moment, with 10 minutes gone, and still no scoring here at Easter Road. So you can see the challenge being made there. Lawrence going in, and Hearts have the free kick just inside their own half. Anyone from McPherson. And out towards Hagan. This is Hamilton. Well, Hamilton found himself just a little bit of space. Hibernian defenders keeping a close eye on John Robertson, who was hovering. The ball just dropped in behind Robertson. In came Hamilton, and the overhead kick from him. So the former Hibernian player joined Hearts last January after making almost 200 appearances for Hibs. This is Keith Wright. Plays it through. This is Gareth Evans. Michael O'Neill. Chris Jackson's in some space over on the right-hand side. It's Hunter. Takes a return from Milne. It's promptly given away though to Hamilton. Hunter tries to retrieve the situation, and Higgins claiming that he was kicked there by the Hibernian defender. It's a throw-in to Hibs. It's Alec Miller, now the longest-serving manager in the Premier Division, who's done a quite magnificent job here through very difficult times and built up an excellent squad. But he's been warning his players all week, despite the fact they've made a good start to the season, that would have no bearing in this afternoon, and it's certainly proved to be the case so far. He's taking the time about this. He gets a little touch, Hibs get it away. Who sends it through, but it's a poor one straight to Keith Wright. This is Darren Jackson. Lawrence keeps possession. He promptly gives it away. Darren Jackson plays it through. But, McPherson's there. Gareth Evans pressures a goalkeeper, but Nelson responds. This is Hagan trying to get that ball through to Robertson. Hunter's there though. This is McGinley. Tweed. Logs wide. It goes to Tweed. Through now for O'Neill. Well challenged by Locke, and let's have it again, but in steps Hunter. Pushing forward from his own half. Leaving it now to Chris Jackson, who's had a superb start to the season. Long one from McGinley. That brings applause. This is Keith Wright. Free kick goes Hearts' way. Hagan bundled off the ball by Chris Jackson.
Just a lot of loose passes the last couple of minutes here, Jerry. Just initially, mainly from Hibs, they seem to have a bit of time. They're starting to get a little bit of space more in midfield, and they're not really using it properly yet. I mean, Pat McGinley had a lovely diagonal pass to Keith Wright there, but other than that, it's been pretty loose. I think when Hibs, especially are in control in midfield, they've got to make advantage of the passing.
So Hearts have the free kick. Well, let's hope for some goals here today. 3 of the last 6 league games between the clubs have finished goalless. But there's a lot of effort going into this by both sides so far. Someone just has to put their foot in the ball and calm things down. Easier said than done on such a blustery day. So it's played now to McPherson. And the shot never quite troubling Jim Layton. But McPherson has managed 3 goals so far this season. They've all come in the League Cup competition. He's always willing to have a go.
Always accepts his stick, Big Davy. Never a complaint, just gets on with it. I had the same at Rangers, and I've always admired him for a long time because of that. He's just carried on with it, never complained, and always smiling when you speak to Big Davy, always acknowledges you well. Fine big guy.
It's played through again, looking for Robertson, but Hibs get it away through Milne. And it's a free kick to Hibs against Gary Mackay, who's arguing. And they clash there with Darren Jackson. So Hibs trying to push their way up the slope. And this This one's left to Andy Milne. Keith Wright is just on the edge of the area. Tweed's up there as well, a bit of pushing and shoving going on. Hearts get it away through Gary Mackay. There's Robertson getting a touch. Under a lot of pressure here though. And he gets the free kick. Andy Milne, the culprit. Taking the Hearts striker out of the play. Scoring here as Hagan gets a touch. This is Robertson. If he could get one this afternoon, he'd be a happy man. He tried to play it back to Hagan. Still Hearts pushing forward. The ball comes off the post. And Hamilton getting in there. Robertson causing all kinds of problems for the Hibernian defence. Jim Layton springing across his goal. Hamilton's header coming off the inside of the post. And a real let-off for Hibernian. They're under pressure again from the corner kick. Hunter climbs well. Gareth Evans gets it away. Let's have it again though. Played in by Wright. Now a chance for Hibs to break away. Darren Jackson playing it through, looking for Keith Wright, who goes on a good run. Getting away from Locke. He hits the early ball. There's no one there to take advantage. Well, good running that by Keith Wright, and Gary Locke just enough to put him off initially, but he hit the early cross, but no takers at the far side.
Good signs again for Hearts. I mean, I think Hibs have come into the game a lot more, Jerry, but Hearts have really had decent chances. I felt they were a bit slow in supporting John Robertson, who controlled it in the box well, held it up, and they eventually get a nice cross from Colin Miller and a great header from Hamilton. And Hibs are a bit fortunate to still be 0-0.
The referee awards free kick. Evans isn't the news, but free kick it is to Hearts. I'd say Jim Jeffries will be happy enough with what his men have achieved so far. Hamilton's well up there again. It's Neil clearing. And as far as Gary Mackay, it's laid off by Lawrence. Mackay again, across to Gary Locke. Again, it's swung out towards Hagan. Pat McGinley stepping in for Hibernian. By Colin Miller for the throw to Hibs. And again the decision goes Hearts' way. Keith Wright, the offender. Long one from Winnie. Away by Hunter. Picked up by Darren Jackson. He just had a little look forward. The two strikers are well marked. And this time the ball goes Hibs' way. Chris Jackson fouled there by Alan Lawrence, so we'll have to be careful. And Lawrence has already been booked and going in very high.
Certainly a high challenge, I tell you. You better be very careful. The referee's probably just looking at him, maybe thinking about giving a severe warning.
Robertson trying to get the better of Hunter. He's been clearly held back there. The referee's allowing advantage. Hearts are getting players forward. This is Lawrence. Twisting and turning, trying to find the opening and flipping that one over the top. But, Robertson was being clearly held on the way through. And the referee has a word with the Hibernian defender. Then Lawrence managed to turn and get in that effort.
Good opportunity again for Hearts. He had 1-on-1 in Lawrence's pace. I thought he would have just really had a run up, especially getting into the edge of the box there. He decided to cut back on his weaker side, his left, and I think it shows why he's probably weaker with the shot.
So still 0-0 here at Easter Road. This Bell's Premier Division match. Just over 20 minutes gone, and Hibs push forward again, but Hearts get it away. Only as far as Tweed. It's played through by Milne. It's ball running behind for the Goal kick. Well, this is the centenary year for this particular league derby between the Edinburgh rivals, first way back in 1895. Nelson plays a long one forward, that's out of play, and the throw-in goes Hibs' way. This is Hamilton for Hearts. Through for Robertson again. He's tightly marked, quickly closed down. There's another veteran of these occasions, Gary Mackay, playing it through. Robertson gets a touch. This is Lawrence. It's played through by Hamilton. And Jim Leighton signals he's in control of that situation. Jim Leighton, who was ever present in the league last season, and again has played each of the games this time around. Plays it high, and that's a free kick to Hearts. And Keith Wright doing a bit of pushing. So it's left to Winnie. Cross to Miller. This is Mackay. Robertson to chase. Hunter's with him as ever. Real battle going on between these two this afternoon. It's Robertson who does well, and it's Chris Jackson who gets in a foot, and it's away by Milne, only as far as Hagan. Hagan in a tight situation here, does well to get in the cross. It's away by Stephen Tweed. Returned by Locke. McGinley gets a touch, still Hart trying to push it forward. But, here come Hibernian now. Two Jacksons combining. Get it across to O'Neill. Love goes in a run down the left-hand side. Hamilton goes with him. This is Graham Love. O'Neill and Jackson knocking it about, looking for an opening. It's through to McGinley. He's closed down by McPherson. Well, Craig Nelson having to do well as Miller headed the ball back towards him, and Gareth Evans closed in quickly. And the goalkeeper isn't too happy with his defence. The header simply allowed him to pick up the ball. Gareth Evans come flying in on him.
A bit slow defensively, Hearts there to react to the initial header. But better play again from Hibs, that's what I'm saying about the midfield area. In the derby games, when you get time, you must make your passes count in the midfield area. Hibs were a bit more patient there, had a bit better build-up, and suddenly the spaces are open. And that's when they've got to make it count, and Hibs and Hearts at the moment aren't doing enough of that.
So Hearts have themselves a free kick deep inside the Hibernian territory. David McPherson has moved forward just to the edge of the area. Hagan's gone over there as well, who is useful in the air, but it's knocked away. This is Locke. It's laid off by McPherson. So Hearts push forward. This is Wright battling away. Locke trying to put O'Neill under pressure. He responds well. This is Tweed. Good play by Tweed. Forward to Darren Jackson. He's got Keith Wright ahead of him. It's played wide to Graham Love. Hibs getting players forward now. It's in towards Keith Wright, but Hearts stand for him this time through Miller. Now it's McPherson. Looking for Robertson. Comes off the head of Milne. Robertson tumbles to the ground. It's Leighton outside his area. Finding Tweed. Through to Love. That's out for the throw to Hearts. Still things going on fairly frantically. This is Lawrence. Hamilton. It's Hunter just in ahead of Robertson. And McPherson with the pass to his goalkeeper. It's not a good clearance by Craig Nelson. His confidence much good. And he was under pressure just before that, and the ball was headed back to him. Here's Evans. Chris Jackson breaks well. This is Pat McGinley laying it off for O'Neill. They couldn't quite get a hold of that one. A player who does pack a good shot. Just a 1 goal so far this season, but decent little build-up there by Hibs.
Yeah, it was a good build-up. Gareth Evans for the first time really turning his defender and trying to make things happen. They get a cross which is a little bit behind McGinley. I think Pat would be disappointed in his layoff there, Jerry, to be honest. Michael O'Neill, we know, is predominantly left-footed, and he ended up having to come round the ball with outside his left foot when Pat really should have just put it so that he was running onto it quite comfortably. Awkward shot.
So the wind getting up again as Hamilton climbs for that one. Cross now to Graham Love. Checks his stride. Gives it to McGinley. By Miller. Again, Miller comes in. Sends it way across the halfway line. It's Tweed with Robertson, which is a bit of an in-goal struggle when it's a high ball. This is McGinley. Darren Jackson. Just a bit of slackness there. McGinley and Darren Jackson looking daggers at one another as that move broke down. And Hearts have the throw. So Gary Locke here with the throw. One of the young Hearts players who's starting to make his mark in this team. So Lawrence providing the cross. Just leaving it to White. Lawrence starts a run. White looking around for some options here. Sends it towards Hamilton. Again, it's Hart's ball. Headed out by Darren Jackson. Back helping in defence. So David McPherson pushes forward to the edge of the area. This throw. It's in his direction. Let's get a second bite at it through right. Cross with the left foot. It comes off the head of Tweed. And it's easily gathered by Jim Leighton, who launches another attack, sending the ball out to Chris Jackson. Forward for Gareth Evans. He's closed down quickly though by Miller. Tweed. So still it's Hibernian 0, Hearts 0. One goes astray, it's picked up by Hamilton. It's played upfield by Locke. Well, the pace of the game has dropped for the moment. It's played through by Milne. Tweed, Milne again. Darren Jackson. It's getting everyone behind the ball. This is right. Apart from the problem with the blustery wind, there's bright sunshine too, which is causing the players some problems. Gary Locke, who made his league debut a couple of years ago. Gets Hearts going again. Plays it to McPherson. And Robertson goes down there just inside the box, and he's indicating that there was an infringement as he was challenged by Andy Milne. So play goes on. This is O'Neill. Darren Jackson, cross to Hunter. Well, Robertson is still on the ground. So that's half an hour gone. We're still waiting for the opening goal here. So John Robertson is on the ground inside the Hibs half as play goes on. And of the balls, send out a play so as they can receive some treatment.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, John Robertson read that situation quite well on the ball, but it was a very accidental challenge from, I think it was Andy Millen. He just got a bang in the face for his troubles, and at the same time didn't end up getting a shot in. But again, I think the blustery conditions has given them passing problems. Michael O'Neill there had good opportunities to pick out a pass, but dwelled on it a little bit. I think as soon as Hibs get their space, especially in the midfield, they're either dwelling on it or else they're running with it at the wrong times. And I just think sometimes you need to make a few more passes to create just some more spaces.
So this was him coming through here, and just seemed to be caught as both players done.
He reads the situation well. They simply challenge and he gets a bang in the face. Certainly no intention to hit Robbo there. I think it was just a simple accident.
So happily, he's back on his feet. And the game will resume with the throw-in. And the ball is returned to Hibs. Hibs wanting far too much time with the ball. Andy Milne, the sinner there, giving Hearts possession again. This is Gary Mackay. And it's Tweed who clears across the halfway line. He looks under pressure here from Gareth Evans. And deals really well with the situation. It wasn't the best ball he's hit, but it got through. But Hibs have it now through Darren Jackson. A lot of misplaced passes in these difficult conditions.
It's a point I made just a couple of minutes ago, Jerry. Again, Darren has time there, and he elects to hit an early pass when no one's really there, so he's not really going to create anything. That's when it's important that you keep your composure and you keep control of the situation.
That ball swept out of play by Andy Milne. Throw in just in the line with the penalty area. Set it away by Tweed. This time it's Hunter. McPherson's well forward. Pat McGinley gets a touch for Hibs. And that's a free kick to Hibernian. Gareth Evans fouled there. I'm told that Hearts are quite concerned about David Hagan, who's got blood vision. He took a knock earlier on. We're hoping he can recover. So it's O'Neill who sends that one forward. And there's Hagan deep inside his own half. And just allows the ball to run out of play. And in the circumstances, doing the sensible thing, leaving the throw to one of his teammates. Here come Hibs again. That's O'Neill. Across to Love. McGinley. Keith Wright. Evans trying to find a way through. And Nelson just gets the ball away. There's Keith Wright challenged. This is O'Neill. There's the throw. That's Love. Jackson under pressure there from Hamilton, but still Hibs retain possession. Milne comes through in support. Hearts are closing their opponents down quickly. Hunter pushes forward. Breaks a way through for Robertson to chase, but Leighton coming right to the edge of the box. And that's out for the throw-in. Two Hearts.
Had a look there at Andy Millen, Jerry, and he looks to be struggling bad. I think he's had a problem with his knee. maybe after the clash we seen earlier with John Robertson, seems to be hobbling quite badly.
So once again, the ball's out for the throw. You can see, indeed, that the defender is struggling there. This is Lawrence. Watch my tweet. Back it goes now to Locke. Ball holding up in the wind. And it comes off Hagan and goes behind for the goal kick.
This wind now is starting to play a few tricks on the players, Jerry. They're trying to hit some deeper crosses. Both teams have had it. They're trying to run with it, and then they're trying to hit deeper crosses, and the wind's playing a few tricks on them, which is always off-putting for players. You tend to lose heart and get a bit frustrated by it all, but I think the belief in them should all be to try and get it down, try and keep it in the ground. And I've actually seen some good passing movements from both sides, but just not been enough of it.
This is O'Neill for Hibs. Well, Milne is definitely toiling, and looks though Andy Milne will be lucky to continue any further in this match. Hibs have Donald and Dodds on the bench this afternoon. This is simply a blow to Alec Miller, who has to take off such an experienced player from such a vital area at the back. This is Evans. O'Neill. Again, Hearts have just got everyone behind the ball. McGinley starts to run there. And Craig Nelson does well. Comes immediately from his line and takes possession of the ball. Well, he moved to Hearts last December. Well, Nicky Walker went to Partick Thistle. It's all part of the swap deal. So he gets a long one down the slope. Lawrence gets the touch on. This is Hamilton. So Hibs had enough cover. Leighton's high kick. Holding up in the wind. Making it difficult there for McGinley. White gets a touch. Let's get it away though. This is O'Neill. McGinley trying to switch the ball wide again, finding it extremely difficult. And that high ball drops out of play for the throw-in. The referee spots the infringement, and free kick goes Hearts' way. They'll love making the challenge. So inevitably, McPherson moves forward. David Winnie's gone up to the edge of the area as well. So being left to Gary Locke. So Hibs got that one away easily. Through back McGinley. This is Miller for Hearts. Done by Chris Jackson. Again, the wind getting up, and Hearts pouncing there on that loose ball, much to the annoyance of the Hibs fans. But another one goes astray, and it's a throw-in to Hibs against one of their own corner flags. Well, Hibs still unbeaten in the Premier League this season. But recent seasons they've won just 3 times in 15 league games against Hearts. It was a long time there. They toiled against the Tynecastle club, and Hearts certainly giving a good account of themselves here this afternoon, coming off the back of 3 straight defeats, and Gary Locke gets him a corner kick, and again there's some pressure here for Jim Leighton and his defenders. So good play by the young fullback, showing good skill in these difficult conditions, and Graham Love going after Oldham. John Robertson getting a little touch there across the face of goal, and it was Tweed who got it away. So Robertson popping up on the near post there and causing Hibs problems. So just under 5 minutes of the first half left. Still no scoring. Here come Hearts. It's Robertson clipping it across. McPherson's there, and David McPherson scores for Hearts. who's always such a thorn on this Hibs side, providing the cross, and David McPherson not picked up. And picking his spot.
Great play, Jerry, by John Robertson. He's worked and worked today. Not going to get much service into his feet. He's worked ever so hard. And he puts in a great cross for big Dave McPherson, who again has been playing particularly well. But Robertson, a thorn in the Hibs side for so long, is he the creator today, but a marvellous goal. Great finish for big David McPherson.
Meanwhile, Pat McGinley's shot has deflected and gone behind. So the corner kick. Corner kick to Hibernian. Well, the final minutes of the first half ticking away. Can Hibs get themselves back into this match? And it's O'Neill who gets right under that one, high over the crossbar.
Yeah, another opportunity for Hibs. I think Hearts have had the best of the chances. It's certainly a good opportunity for Hibs falling there after a good corner. Good move initially, getting him a corner. Michael O'Neill again, maybe because it's on his right foot, just skying it.
So, Hibs 0, Hearts 1. And the Hearts fans really enjoying this at the moment. And Hearts pushing forward. And that ball out of play for the throw-in. Two Hibs. Well, Jim Jeffries will be a delighted man. His first Edinburgh derby as a manager, and his first as a player 22 years ago ended in a 7-0 win for Hibs. So he knows what it's like to be on the other side of this situation. If Hearts can get away with something from this today, he'll be a delighted man.
Yeah, and I think he should be also, Jerry, because so far I think they've started this half anyway. They've been strong defensively, which has been his problems in recent weeks. And I think, you know, if we were in a half-time 0-0, he would have been pleased with his side's performance. But if they get 1-0 up, he'll be even more pleased. But I think in chances alone, they probably deserve to be in front.
So just under 2 minutes of the first half left, plus stoppage time. Hibernian 0, Hearts 1. David McPherson the scorer. John Robertson, who's so often the goal taker against Hibs, turned goal maker to provide the cross for the big centre back. So the free kick conceded. And it's Miller for Hearts. Hibs certainly won't want to lose another one right on half-time. And it's Chris Jackson getting that one away. And it's Darren Jackson. And Hearts showing lots of commitment. So we're inside the final minute of the first half. And Andy Milne, despite taking a hefty knock, has managed to continue, which is quite surprising. He looks a bit more comfortable at the moment. So McGinley plays that one forward now. It's Keith Wright trying to keep it in play, but the flag is up on the far side. It's behind for the goal kick. And the great cheers and roars got from the Hearts fans just behind Craig Nelson's goal. So once again, Charlie, it shows you when it comes to a derby match,
you can take nothing for granted in any derby matches, Jerry. Been proved too many times in the past for anybody to judge who's going to be the winner today. Now, if anybody needed a goal and maybe to get in, or at least have the lead to start with, it's probably the Hearts fans, because they've had a hard time the last few weeks following their team. They're here in numbers today, and as you can hear, I mean, they're really buoyant at the moment, and they'll be very pleased with their team's performance.
So we're in stoppage time now as Hearts come forward again. It's Hagan trying one, and Jim Leighton went flying across his goal. Well, David Hagan suffered a knock earlier on, but he certainly had Leighton scrambling there from quite far out.
It was a decent enough effort. I think Jim really had it covered. I remember Walter Smith telling us about David Hagan, says it's typical of him to score a spectacular goal rather than an easy chance. And you see just a little bit of inspiration from David Hagan there, just having a pop shot from about 35 yards.
So Gary Mackay concedes the free kick, foul there on Darren Jackson. It's quickly taken. We're well into stoppage time. It's O'Neill for Hibs, and there goes the half-time whistle. Well, a splendid first half by Hearts. They took the initiative early on. Hibs pushed back into the game, but then towards half-time, David McPherson there, pouncing, set up by John Robertson, sending the cross over to him, and he was unmarked at the far post. The half-time score here at Easter Road is Hibernian 0, Hearts 1.
Yeah, it's a great first 45 minutes for Hearts at Easter Road. Join us after this break for Craig and Stevie's thoughts on the first half. Welcome back. It's 1-0 Hearts over at Easter Road. Stevie, what do you make of it?
Fiercely contested. Hearts majority of the chances. Difficult conditions. Typical derby.
Yeah.
But the goal's given us a bit of life in the game, and I believe that the slope has played a big part in the game, and the wind also. Yeah. And I feel it's going to be a game of two halves.
A game of two halves?
Yes.
I've never heard that before. Actually, as early as 20 seconds, Craig, Brian Hamilton might have put Hearts ahead. That was a great chance.
Yeah, I'm struggling to stop smiling here. It was a good cross by Alan Lawrence, and I think the manager has the idea we'll try and get Brian coming in at the back post, and it almost worked right away. And I think the ball just came off Jim Leighton's hand, and it probably came in just a little bit too quickly for him to be able to guide it into the net.
Yeah, well, that was a chance for Hearts. Then a chance for Hibs, Steve, with Pat McGinley. A good downward header from him.
Yep, Pat doing what he does best, get into the box, get on the end of things.
It's bad marking, I think, here, because it's a free header and he's almost inside the 6-yard box. Yes, I don't know what you think.
I think he's done everything well. These things happen in the game. He's done everything right. He's got it down, and he's just got it down too early. It bounced way before it should have bounced. He should have just hit it a little bit further in, it would have been in the back of the net. But it was a good chance, yeah.
Hamilton's had a good first half, hasn't he, Craig? I don't think the Hibs fans are too pleased with him having played for them at one stage, but he had a good header again and came off the post.
Yeah, I looked at the team and I wondered about whether Gary Mackay would play wide on the right, but I think that's what the manager's doing. He's put Brian in to be a goal threat when the ball coming off our sort of left wing area, and that was a very good chance. And I was just waiting on John Robertson turning up just to pop that in the net there. Just want to see where he was.
I think he's due a goal, Hamilton. He's playing well, Steve.
Yeah, well, sometimes it goes that way. You get bundles of chances, you don't score, and another day you can maybe get two chances and you can take one of them or take two of them. It depends how it goes, but he's doing well getting in the box.
Yeah, and they kept pressing, didn't they, Hearts? I mean, Tweed came to Hibs' rescue next up.
Yep. It's been happening all the first half. To me, Hearts seem to be a little bit light in the box. Robertson's a little bit isolated on occasions. You see that right across the 6-yard box, and there was no Hearts player near it.
Yeah, I would expect somebody coming in on that, definitely. Somebody should be attacking the ball. We're looking for a flick on at the front post, and everything went according to plan. We should have somebody coming in.
Yeah, it looks like it's a set piece that they've worked on.
Well, let's see the goal then, and your chum, Dave McPherson, are you pleased for him,
Yeah,
Craig?
I'm pleased for Davey. He gets a fair bit of stick, but he's having a great spell just now. And Steve talked earlier on during the game that the composure shown by John Robertson there to get that cross, and there's a lot of bodies round about him, and he's picked a great cross out the back post, and tight angle, but Davey's put away well.
Yeah, you're pleased for him as well, Steve, because he does take an awful lot of stick. You hear the Hibs fans at him.
Yeah, Davies, he held the back post well. There was a temptation when John was getting his cross set up. There was a temptation to come across the defender there, but he didn't. He held it well. The composure factor was there from John and from Davy, and the finish was great. Jim Leighton had no chances, right down to his feet.
Composure's your watchword, isn't it?
That's the word of today, yes.
The word of today. Well, we'll take a short break now, but join us again in a couple of minutes for all the second half action. Hibs against Hearts, live from Easter Road. Welcome back. It's 1-0 Hearts over at Easter Road, thanks to Dave McPherson. Actually, Steve, David Hagan did well. He took a head knock in that first half, but he came close just after McPherson scored.
Yeah, but I think Charlie mentioned on the commentary that Jim had it covered, and I think he did. If you see it here, yeah, it was a good strike. I think Jim's just got it covered, but it's a good effort, well worth a try.
I think with that double vision, they maybe thought it was in, you know, I thought it was two.
You were glad it was his head. He had a problem with weight, Craig. What about the second half? Do you think Hearts can build on this, or do you think Hibs will come back into it, Craig?
I think Hibs will definitely try and come back into it, but the way we set out the stall at the start of the game was not to lose any goals. We sat a little bit deeper than we've been doing the last 2 or 3 games, and it seems to have worked.
Yeah.
And I think what might happen is I think Darren Jackson might try and pick the ball up a little bit further forward. He seems to be coming awful deep to pick the ball up. And I think if Hibs are going to get back into the game, they'll need to use Jackson and probably really need to get the ball out wide to Michael O'Neill.
Yeah, well, anyone coming in and you haven't seen the first half, let's see the goal again. Dave McPherson was the scorer, just coming up to half-time. And Steve, we've praised him enough, but I mean, let's do it again. He did well at the far post.
Yeah, it was a great combination. Perfect delivery, perfect header down, keeper no chance. It was good, it was good. The game needed it, and I'm sure we're in for a cracking second half.
I think we are. I think it will lift generally now, Steve.
Yeah,
you know
it's got to. Hibs realise they can go to second top in the league if they win this game, and they'll be going to all out for it, I'm sure.
Yeah. OK. Well, I think we can go back over to Easter Road now. It's the second half of Hibs versus Hearts live. Remember, Hearts are 1-up. Match commentator Jerry McNee.
Welcome back to Easter Road as the Hearts players leave the dressing room. Hibs players already come out onto the field. So, just having a look around to see if there are any substitutions. And Graham Donald has come on wearing number 12 for Andy Milne, who took a knock in the first half. So things being reorganised by Alec Miller. Just checking around the Hearts team there, and no changes there. So David Hagan has come back onto the field, and in fact there is a Hearts change. John Miller has come on. So it's McPherson who plays that one forward. Just headed away by Love. And it looks as though Gary Locke has left the field. So David McPherson, the man who scored just 5 minutes before half-time for Hearts. We've really experienced the 4 seasons here this afternoon. There's more rain during half-time, but again, the sun has come out over Easter Road, and here's an early touch for the Hibs substitute, Graham Donald. Donald again trying to force his way through. This is Hagan. It's headed away by Hunter, picked up by Tweed. And given right away to Lawrence. So John Miller getting the touch there, but it's away by Darren Jackson. McPherson's under pressure here from Keith Wright. There'll be a lot of determination about Hibs in the opening stages of this second half. Miller would have plenty to say about the first half performance. And it's Keith Wright getting in the ball, and it's Miller who gets it away, and Hearts scrambling it clear. Darren Jackson tries to get through, and just a bit over-enthusiastic as he went in for that challenge. And the free kick is awarded. It was Gary Mackay who was in the end of that one.
Yeah, just a clumsy tackle from Darren. He lost the ball and just got a bit frustrated. What I would expect from Hibs this half is Pat McGinley in particular get forward. I just feel that Pat's been the guy who's been coming back deeper and playing passes, whereas I think his big strength, Pat McGinley, for me, is when he's running in the middle of defences and getting on the end of forward balls. And for me, he hasn't really had the opportunity to do that for Hibs.
Player with a real goal threat when he gets into those positions. This is Alan Lawrence, sampling his first Edinburgh derby this afternoon. He'll be enjoying himself as Hearts continue to lead by a goal to 0. And there's a foul against David McPherson and Gareth Evans. Jackson launches it forward. by Hearts, picked up by O'Neill, who hasn't figured as prominently in this match as we thought he might. This is Tweed, who's well forward. O'Neill makes good position for himself, but didn't quite get in the end of that one. So the ball's still in play on the far side. It's Darren Jackson taking a tumble. He answers the referee. So Lawrence trying to get forward, showing a lot of persistence here, putting Hibs defence under pressure. And the offside flag is up as Hamilton played that one through. The referee though allows play to continue. Good refereeing by Willie Young. And it's Hibs now on the counter-attack. A little nudge there by Gary Mackay. Or on Gary Mackay, I should say. So now a chance here for Hibernian to do something. Hibs fans behind Craig Nelson's goal, urging on their men. That's played in for Wright, who's got a free header at goal. Well, the Hibs striker finding himself in a lot of room. But, no real threat in that at the end.
No, he found himself in a great amount of space, but it's a difficult ball. It's hanging up in the wind, and he really has to put power on it, and it's so difficult. I think the alternative really was taking it down in his chest, but a difficult header for Keith Wright.
This is Hagan. He's got support from Miller, but he sends in the cross. Hibs eventually scramble it away. And again, the conditions proving difficult. And it's a late challenge, and it's a free kick to Hibs. Winnie there involved in that one, and Gareth Evans is a player on the ground. So he's recovered, and the match will restart with the free kick to Hibernian. And Hunter has started a run towards the edge of the area. This is Hunter climbing for it, but Hearts have the cover. It's McGinley's shot going in and taking a deflection. Corner kick. So that's 50 minutes gone. And Hearts continue to lead by a goal to nil. Corner comes in from Hibs. So Winnie, who gets it away. This is Lawrence. Through for Robertson. And Higgins in a bit of space on the left-hand side. It's back through to Robertson up. And that's blocked by Graham Love. It's Jackson who turns. Referee allows play to go on. And Hamilton makes the challenge, and Hibs have to settle for the throw-in, and Darren Jackson's not happy with the referee. And an angry exchange going on there between the player and the official. Ben's not happy either. This is Tweed. It's starting to push more and more forward here. The goalkeeper commits himself. It's good handling by Craig Nelson.
Well, a good start this second half on both sides, Jerry. Hibs in particular, got quite a few free kicks in the Hearts half. He's starting to apply a lot of pressure now. At the same time, Hearts are relying on the break now. A good opportunity there. Good movement from the last one, and John Robertson's shot ends up getting blocked.
This is Hagan. There was a lot of space a few moments ago, but the ball was played through the middle to Robertson. An interesting tussle between Graham Donald and David Hagan in the second half. This is Evans. And he's there, just a bit of Keith Wright, and decides to take absolutely no chance. Who kicked the ball in play, and it's away by Winnie. This is Robertson being held there by Tweed. The referee knowing what advantage there was, but Hunter's in there ahead of Lawrence. And Leighton plays effectively. Let's have it again now. It's Hibs through Aaron Jackson. Evans. That's a free kick against Miller. So Michael O'Neill playing it short. Now all breaks down for Hibernian. This is Hagan. So Hibs have plenty of cover, only Alan Lawrence forward. This is Love. Keith Wright jumped for that one. Breaks away to Hagan. And Hagan caught there by Graham Donald. Donald does well. This is Gareth Evans. And just inches away. Well, the goalkeeper not happy with the defending, and quite rightly so. And it was Gareth Evans who pounced there as the ball broke through to him. It was Graham Donald who did well just before that, and that ball not far away.
Yeah, young Graham Donald does particularly well, really. Real determination. Dug in there and ended up creating a chance for Gareth Evans. Right thing, shooting across the goalkeeper. Can always maybe get a knockout, but unfortunately for Gareth Evans, just goes wide. Good effort though.
Play for the throw to Hibs inside their own half. Well, Hibs have scored in all 4 league games so far. The only time they've failed to score was in the 2-0 defeat to Airdrie Broadwood in the League Cup. So they're going to keep up their league record. They'll have to do something this afternoon to get themselves back into this game. So 55 minutes gone. And still Hearts lead by a goal to 0. David McPherson, just 5 minutes before the interval. Goal set up by John Robertson. Here come Hibs up through Michael O'Neill. That's Jackson, Aaron Jackson, Stephen Tweed. Sending it through for Evans, but the cover's provided by Colin Miller. Hunter gets in the header for Hibs. It's Tweed again. Now it's Hearts breaking through. Miller. So McPherson getting in the header, and the ball coming off Chris Jackson. So it's a Hearts throw. Jackson's get it away between them. So Neil, but that ball had actually curled out of play. So Hearts have they throw in inside their own half. Well, I spoke to Alec Miller just a moment ago. I spoke to him earlier in the week, and he started hammering home the message. We'll be back on Monday to his players. They don't have to put other results behind them. Just wonder what's going through his mind at the moment. He's already had to commit one of his substitutes, Graham Donald, with Andy Milne going off. Darren Dodds, who's a relatively inexperienced player, is the other man on the bench this afternoon.
One thing Hibs can't do at the moment, Jerry, is let the game go flat, because that'll suit Hearts. Hibs really have to up the pace, keep the pressure on Hearts, and I think if they keep doing that, they might just get the break. But if they let the game go flat, that'll suit Hearts, and they're liable to get hit in the counter-attack.
This is McGinley. Donald. So Hibs ball. Evans surrounded by Hearts players. A lot to do here. And he's got the corner kick. as you could have expected out of that situation. So Tweed has moved forward, and Hunter also. As Hibs try and get themselves back into this match. And the header going in from Graham Donald. Certainly got in the end of that one, but sent it high over.
I think David Hagan done well, to be fair there, Jerry. I think young Donald just got across his path. The Hagan simply put his boot up just high enough to put him off. Sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't, but fortunately enough for David Hagan, he got away with that, but cute enough.
And this is Hagan going for this ball, being shadowed by Donald. And the referee has had enough. And he's calling over Pat McGinley. So a stern word of warning for the player. He's got Hagan, who's really been in the wars this afternoon. But he gets up for more. And Pat McGinley gets away with a warning. Just the one booking so far, that was Talon Lawrence in the first half. So still Hearts lead by 1-0. And it's Miller who fires that one forward, and it holds up in the wind. This is Hamilton. Hagan. Hamilton's here again. But Chris Jackson has plenty of time. It's Keith Wright. He does well under pressure. McGinley sends that one through. It's Gareth Evans. And then comes the substitute. And Graham Donald scores the equaliser for Hibernian. Well, Gareth Evans got through on the far side. Got the ball across goal. It was all started there by Pat McGinley, who got the ball through to Gareth Evans. And as the goalkeeper committed himself, the ball was played across, and there was Graham Donald to grab the equaliser. Hibernian 1, Hearts 1.
Yeah, Gareth Evans does well. McGinley gets in the danger position. There's a happy young man, young Graham Donald, does well to read the situation and get in there. And if they're going to take the chance here as well, kicking in the net. I think Evans went for the shot originally. Nelson got a little touch to his side, off his legs. Young Graham Donald, that's certainly cheered him up.
So 61 minutes for the equaliser there from Graham Donald. And the game really comes alive again. But good play initially by Pat McGinley, who got the ball through to Gareth Evans. And there's Alec Miller, a happier man now. Jim Jeffries looks on as Hearts prepared to take the corner kick. Again, there's a lot of movement there, but it's headed away by Love. Hearts get another bite at it. And Leighton's lost that one, and it's scrambled away. Well, Jim Leighton under pressure there. The ball hit out towards the corner flag. Again, the wind catching it. Kick it is, and more pressure for Jim Leighton and his defenders. Lawrence sends it in. Leighton commits himself. He's lost it, and it's gone in, but the referee has disallowed it. The referee immediately signalled no goal. Leighton was challenged in the air.
I think it was a challenge with John Miller, to be honest. You've seen Jim Leighton totally committed himself to the cross. You see him here, John Miller he really just tries to get a body check on him, and I think it was a foul in fairness.
This is Lawrence, and falls just behind Hagan. Throw in to Hibernian. Well, they breathe a sigh of relief after that goal was chopped off. It's still 1 goal apiece here at Easter Road. And Gary Mackay is being called across for that challenge, and it's a red card for Gary Mackay. So he stood on the Hibs player after that exchange, and the red card shown to the Hearts player. That's the second time in exactly a year that he's been ordered off in this fixture. He was ordered off exactly a year ago for 2 yellow cards. But there's no doubt about it, after the ball was cleared, that he stood.
He's not even involved in the incident.
It was Gareth Evans, yeah.
He's not even involved in the incident, Jerry. He suddenly gets himself involved, and as an experienced player, he can't afford to do things like that, and it's just crazy. I mean, he'll probably sit in that dressing room and think to yourself, what have I done? It's just a moment of madness from Gary Mackay.
As we say, such an experienced player. Twice in the space of 12 months ordered off in the Edinburgh Derby. Well, that could be a significant happening in this game. It's finely balanced at the moment. Hibernian 1, Hearts 1. But Hearts now down to 10 men. Have also had a goal disallowed, so things running against them, but that certainly was a self-inflicted wound. So 65 minutes played now, and Hearts have the free kick. McPherson, who scored the Hearts goal, is looking. It's played away beyond him, though. A bit of pushing and shoving going on there, and Hunter clashing with Winnie. So the referee allows play to go on. And it's kept in by Wright. Hunter climbs for that one. Well, even the referee's having difficulty seeing here because of this bright sunshine. But he certainly spotted the Gary Mackay incident, and he's off the field, and that's a free kick against Keith Wright for his challenge and Colin Miller.
I think the referee's having a good game, Jerry. I think his position has been excellent today. Most of the incidents that's happened he's been on top of, and I think he's let the play also progress in certain without stopping it too often. I think he's having a fine match.
So it's Miller who sends it forward. Then looking for the head of Hagan. And Hearts play a lot of high balls into his area. And hope he can knock them across goal. Well, certainly Jim Jeffries, from being a goal up at half-time, finds his side with a bit of work to do. Down to 10 men, but on the attack at the moment. It's led off by Lawrence. This is Miller. Hamilton plays it through. It's Lawrence, Miller, and the Hearts do well and they get the corner kick. And it was Graham Donald who got the equaliser for Hibs, conceding the corner kick. So again, McPherson's well forward. Winnie's up there as well. Hagan is pushed right into the far side of the box. Leighton takes that one, watching it anxiously in these blustery conditions.
I think he was keen to take that one.
Off the head of Hagan, throw to Hibernian. By Hunter. And the offside flag is up on the far side. Alan Lawrence said straight forward. So Wicklow can obviously see grounds for optimism now. His team numerical superiority. It's 1 goal apiece, and after going in the goal down at half time, well, you'd think he'd be happier, but still showing all the stresses and strains of a derby match.
I certainly think we'll be anxious for the victory today. Alex Miller's really, since the season started, has emphasised that they're going to attack and try and score a lot of goals, and he sees that's where the strength of his team is. And I think the prospect of maybe going second if they can get a victory after today's game would be something he'd be delighted with.
And Charlie, they've still to win here at Easter Road in the league this season. They've won their 2 away games, which is a complete turnaround from last season. But here's another opportunity for them. David McPherson, the foul there on Keith Wright. Not far outside the penalty area. So a chance here for Hibs. Certainly they have been attacking more away from home. I saw their game at Rugby Park. Certainly Kilmarnock gifted them a few things that day, but Hibs were a positive force, and then it was an excellent victory for them at Ibrox last week. As I said earlier, the first in 5 years there. So can they get something out of this? It's right! And that's a marvellous save by the goalkeeper. Keith Wright took up great position there, dived in, and Nelson just managed to get his fingertips to that ball.
That's a brilliant save. Great ball from Michael O'Neill. He gets the slightest of touches. Nelson great to react.
That'll do Nelson's confidence a lot of good. This is Darren Jackson. Donald keeping the ball in play. Jackson knocks it through again. McPherson watches it carefully. McGinley challenges, wins it. Still it's McGinley. They put through the ball to Gareth Evans to help set up the equaliser. Hearts are struggling here to clear the lines. This is O'Neill. Darren Jackson clips it through. It's headed away by Miller. That's a free kick against O'Neill. And Hearts want to get on with things quickly. And the tempers showing there. O'Neill was not happy, but play is going on. And the decision goes Hearts' way. Meanwhile, the referee is going to take some action here. And he's calling O'Neill over. Well, O'Neill certainly reacted angrily. Robertson trying to act as peacemaker. But the yellow card is shown. And it's O'Neill who moves in now to concede the corner kick. Well, O'Neill was busy arguing with the referee, and Hearts took the free kick quickly, so he's put his team under some unnecessary pressure. And now he's had to concede the corner kick. Played into the near post. It's away by Love. Hamilton's there to return it. It's Love again for Hibs. I think way down the Easter Road slope. Works well played by O'Neill. That's what he's better at. And Keith Wright is certainly onside. It's Wright taking on Winnie, teeing it up. And Pat McGinley scores for Hibernian. 72 minutes gone here at Easter Road. And Pat McGinley strikes. Keith Wright did brilliantly. He was right through in goal, but when he was chasing, he stepped inside the defender, rolled the ball across to McGinley, and he finished it off.
Well, we said at half-time about Pat McGinley getting further forward. Great pass from Michael O'Neill. Keith Wright, good composure. Lovely and unselfish. Squares it for Pat McGinley. And it's just swept into the net. That's both Hibs goals came from the right back, people prepared to break forward into the gaps. McGinley ever so good at that, does it so often. And now Hearts are really up against it.
Aberdeen 2, Hearts 1. And the Hearts reduced to 10 men after the ordering off of Gary Mackay. So Hibs coming from a goal down at half-time. The 2-1 up. And they know they can take second spot in the league this afternoon if they keep it to this. Alec Miller happier now. Hibs going into this game today with 8 points after 4 games. And this will take them on to 11 points, just 1 behind Rangers and 1 ahead of Aberdeen and Celtic, who are both sitting on 10 points. And it will leave Hearts very much down towards the basement on 4 points. But here come Hearts. I'm quite sure there's something to say about this yet. It's Hagan who provides a cross. Miller goes in there. This is Gareth Evans. Given away though to Miller. A little downward header by Graham Love.
I'll certainly say about Hibs, Jerry, I just think that Hibs are always going to be a side. They're going to threaten to score goals. They might have their off days. I think the first 45 minutes proved that they didn't really create many chances. But I think they are so attack-minded now under Alex Miller and Jockey Scott. They're just simply going to go for goals. And I think it's definitely their strength.
Hearts trying to claw their way back into this game. It's Hunter there providing the cover. So 15 minutes left here at Easter Road. It's Hibernian 2, Hearts 1. It's Tweed who sends the ball forward. Again, the wind is very blustery as Winnie sends the ball back to his keeper. And Nelson responds. McPherson challenging. Tweed returns it. Played off by John Miller. So O'Neill there, who was in trouble with the referee, really began that Hibernian goal where he got the ball through to right to tee it up for McGinley. So we saw the better side of Michael O'Neill at that particular point. So the Hibs fans in fine voice now, but it's Hagan for Hearts. So John Miller looking for Lawrence. That's a good ball. Well, John Robertson was arriving at the far post, and that's where he wanted it, but Lawrence had a go. Nice little ball played through by John Miller.
Good move by Hearts. Started by Hagan coming inside. A good ball from John Miller. I think in all honesty I would have to go with Alan Lawrence. He must have the shot there. Just didn't get enough bend on it. But a good move. He opened up Hibs quite easily there.
So a timely warning for the home side. It isn't quite over yet. They're leading by 2 goals to 1. But Hearts showing they still carry a threat. Well, Jim Jeffries led Hearts to 4 straight victories when he arrived at Tynecastle, but things have gone wrong since then. And there is absolutely no doubt that the troubled club needs an influx of money. Many people have fancied Celtic to provide the main challenge to Rangers this season. That might still be the case, but Hibs will certainly have a say. Alec Miller has built up a good squad, but you wonder if it can cope with the injury and suspensions that may follow. There's no doubt they'll be tested. But he has got them playing and playing extremely well. And they were so disappointed to finish 3rd in the Championship last season and not get a UEFA Cup place. So they certainly want to go one better. It's Leighton just watching that one carefully, and it's out of play. the referee eventually towards the goal kick. He looked towards the linesman. It's a little breather for Hibs here.
Yep, the linesman making the call, just helping the referee out, which he's supposed to do, so he's doing his job. I think the one thing about Hibs is in the midfield area, especially Jackson and Neal and McGinley, they have good flair and good passing ability in there. I would always expect Pat McGinley to be the main runner, because he's, for me, is the most strongest in the goal scoring department. He's been good at Hibs, he's been good at Celtic in that department, and I would always expect Pat to be the guy furthest forward. And I think just sometimes they get a little mixed up who's going to be the front runner.
Well, Pat McGinley managed 9 goals last season as he moved about, but he's certainly good for 12 to 14 goals from the midfield. And that's what he's managed for Hibs in the past. They'll be looking for plenty from him this season. Meanwhile, the offside flag is up on the far side. Well, Hibs are at home here to Falkirk next week, and Hearts make the difficult journey away to Kilmarnock, and that game will certainly be a difficult one for both clubs who have not made good starts to the season. So Hearts are about to are trying to make a change here, and it's Colin Miller who's leaving the field, and John Cahoon, the season campaigner, comes on. So John Cahoon in his second spell with Hearts, a player who's moved around Stirling Albion, Celtic, Millwall, Sunderland, and back at Tynecastle. He was a member of the Hearts team which came so close to winning the championship back in '86. But Hearts would settle for an equaliser from him this afternoon, but immediately he's forced into a deep position. So just under 10 minutes left here at Easter Road. Hibernian lead by 2-1. It was McPherson who put Hearts ahead after 40 minutes. Then substitute Graham Donald equalised in 61. And then just a short time ago, Pat McGinley gave Hibernian the lead. This is Darren Jackson sending it across to Tweed. Touch there from Gareth Evans. He watches this one carefully, climbs above Robertson. Lots of the throw. So Jim Jeffries will be looking at the Hearts disciplinary record after this game. They've picked up 2 red cards and 7 yellow so far. This is O'Neill playing it through now for Darren Jackson. Chris Jackson sprints away down the left-hand side. Hagan gets it away, but not convincingly. It's Pat McGinley. He's got Keith Wright to his outside. This is Wright onto the left foot, and David McPherson does just enough there. It's Hagan now with the long one for Lawrence and for Robertson to chase. Leighton's right out of the area. And that one's right over the stand roof. It's just landed.
Well, there's not a lot I can say about that, Jim. He's particularly good at getting so much swerve on that with the shape of his legs. Over the years he's always been mentioned that he doesn't handle the pass back particularly well. One thing about Jim, he'll take no chances. He's so professional. He's out the park, and as you say, no one's ever scored from up the stand yet.
Well, the older goalkeepers perhaps are not as confident with the pass back. Younger keepers will come to live with it as it becomes the norm. Miscue by Hamilton, and of course playing against his old club this afternoon, so the Hibs fans giving him a bit of a hard time. Here he is again, and he's caught by Gareth Evans, and that's a free kick. So again, David McPherson moves forward to the edge of the area. It's Winnie playing that one over in his direction. It doesn't reach him though. It's headed away strongly by Love. Picked up by Keith Wright. Hibs on the move for another one here. Darren Jackson's breaking forward. And Nelson comes to the edge of his area to clear the danger.
A good opportunity for Keith Wright there. Jackson made a good run, and even although he made the run forward, he had a pass of wide right. I think it was Gareth Evans, and he just overhit his pass. Just a little bit careless there from Keith.
Well, Stephen Tweed got that ball away there as he was threatened by Robertson. Hearts have it again, and it's Winnie playing it through. This is Keith Wright, and Hibs have got plenty of players forward. It's 4 against 3. It's Gareth Evans. He's getting support from Donald, but still it's Evans. And Winnie makes a good challenge. And it's Miller who emerges with the ball, John Miller. Tweed and Robertson are getting involved here, and Robertson has given the free kick. Robertson reacting rather angrily. And this is Keith Wright who backtracks to do some good work for Hibs. Well, both sets of players giving everything they've got. But Hearts down to 10 men are finding it difficult. Hibs are looking dangerous as they break forward. Chris Jackson makes a break on the left-hand side. It's Darren Jackson going through, playing a little 1-2 with Keith Wright, and that's a goal kick, indicates the referee. Good try, Darren. Thought he was getting the corner. So just 5 minutes remaining, and Alec Miller checks a watch. He's urging on his players. He knows they can't afford to relax. This is Gareth Evans, nice little turn by him. The offside flag is up though as Keith Wright broke forward. O'Neill was going through on the far side also. This is David McPherson. He'll start to push more and more forward if he can. But again, the offside flag is up. The other end of the field again, it's Keith Wright. McPherson will just push forward now in the hope that Hearts can get a high ball into his head. It's McPherson who gave them the lead after 40 minutes, but Donald after 61, and then McGinley in 72 put Hibs ahead. Hibs get it away. There's another break on here. Darren Jackson's on the left-hand side, but Gareth Evans got caught there. Just under 4 minutes left now. This is McGinley. O'Neill. Sure Hibs would like to wrap it all up in some style. Still it's O'Neill, it's Keith Wright, it's O'Neill again. The chance is on here to finish it off. And still it's not properly cleared. Hearts are struggling here. And eventually it's Wright who gets it away, but he was caught there by Darren Jackson. And Hearts have the free kick. So there's Michael O'Neill, who was pushing through and had the opportunity, didn't quite get in the end of it. And Hearts eventually got it away.
A good strike there, but good move. Hearts are struggling now with the 10 men, a lot of gaps appearing, in, especially in the centre midfield area. Obviously Hearts are going to take the gamble and go forward, and it's leaving a lot of space for the Hibs forwards.
The final minutes ticking away. Just under 3 minutes left. And Hibernian have the free kick. Tweed playing it wide to Keith Wright. And Cahoon goes with him. Still it's Wright, getting in the cross. And the goalkeeper need to watch that one go right over him. So Hearts have the throw. But time running away from them. It's an uphill struggle in every way. And the Hibs fans cheering their players on. And Stephen Tweed was on the ground as Lawrence challenged him.
Put a little high. Stephen Tweed, totally committed. I think he's had an outstanding game today, to be honest. Stephen Tweed. He's done his defensive duties particularly good. But he's also brought forward on a number of occasions. He's started good moves for Hibs. He's had an outstanding game today.
So you can see the clash as he went in to make the header. He was caught there by the boot of Lawrence. Well, there was much relief among Hibs fans last season when the team won 3 of the league encounters with Hearts and ended a run of 20 matches without a win in the championship. And Alec Miller seems to have turned around what was a difficult run in the Edinburgh derby. Hibs are leading by 2-1. Tweed has recovered. We're inside the final minute, plus stoppage time to be added by referee Willie Young. As Charlie said earlier, the referee's had an excellent game in what's been a difficult afternoon. This is Cahoon. David McPherson has now just pushed himself forward to the edge of the Hibs area. Meanwhile, the referee is having to step in and just calm things down. And the decision goes Hibs' way. So another few seconds pass. David McPherson, as you can see there, number 5, still inside the Hibs half. And that's the only hope now for Hearts to get something out of this game. To get a high ball forward to him. And Hearts have the goal kick. The Hibs fans are whistling for full time, as you can hear, and getting ready to celebrate. And you see that 7-0 on the hat of the Hibs player. That indicates Hibs' biggest win in this fixture many years ago. And there's Lawrence taken out of the play, so it might not be over yet. A free kick to Hearts. Not that far outside of the Hibernian penalty area. Up there making the challenge. So, one last chance for Hearts. Clayton gets things organised. Hearts are pushing just about everyone forward. McPherson's up there again. It's played into the feet of Robertson. And that's deflected for the corner kick. The pressure remains on the Hibernian defence. Well, can 10-man Hearts pull off something dramatic here? Then comes a corner. Still not probably cleared, but Love gets it away eventually. And Hibs are getting players forward now. That's a minute of stoppage time played as Nelson plays a high one forward. McPherson's still up there. Little stumble there by John Cahoon. He's showing persistence. He's got the free kick. So Hearts battling right to the end, and some nerves starting to show among the Hibs players. Again, everyone's pushed forward. Well, when Robertson's inside the penalty area against Hibernian, anything's likely to happen. There's Robertson getting a little touch. Robertson trying to get in the shot. Oh, he's done it! It's unbelievable from John Robertson. He's done it again, and he's set a new record. That's his 23rd goal against Hibernian. And it's a new record for John Robertson, 184 league goals. He overtakes that other Hearts great Willie Bald in the most dramatic circumstances here at Easter Road. Well, he's punished Hibs down through the years. He got in a little touch there with his head. The ball broke back to him. There didn't seem to be any way through, but then he found the opening. A tremendous goal by John Robertson.
Marvellous finish from John Robertson. They gave him a yard just before the corner kick, and they nearly punished him then, and they haven't learned a lesson. Hibs defence there.
And there goes the final whistle. The most dramatic ending here possible at Easter Road. John Robertson does it again. The Hibs players can't believe it. But what a splendid battle it's been. Hearts in the ascendancy in the opening part of the game. Hearts taking the lead just before half-time through David McPherson. Then Hibs coming back. A goal from Donald after 61 minutes. Then McGinley struck to put Hibs 2-1 ahead. And as we saw, in dramatic circumstances, John Robertson scoring for Hearts. Charlie.
Well, it was a tremendous afternoon of football. Hearts deserved to be in the lead at half-time. And then in the second half, Hibs took the game to Hearts very positively, kept the pace up, deserved to be 2-1 ahead. And now he's up 2-2, but Robertson deserved that.
Let's go back to Paul Cooney, who's with Pat McGinley.
Pat McGinley and John Robertson. Pat, first of all, congratulations, you've broken Willie Ball's scoring record.
Yeah, well, it's obviously great for me, but more importantly, it's a hard-fought point. I think we had this little bit of first half. Hibs had the better sign. I've no doubt about it. Maybe although it come later, draw was probably a bit fair.
We'll let you get your breath for a moment while you're with us. Pat, did you think you had the winner?
Yes, I did. Only a couple of minutes to go. We can never write wee Robbo off. He's always dangerous about the box. And he's popped up again. He's broken Hearts again.
You were nearly second top of the table, but it was snatched just at the last minute. Could you believe it?
No, I can't. As I say, wee Robbo's popped up again. But we're there. We're going to be fighting right to the end of the season. It's just a wee setback for us, but hopefully we can continue doing what we're doing.
John, it was a great tie though, wasn't it? A great advert for the Edinburgh Derby.
Yeah, we said before that the Edinburgh Derby is always overshadowed by the Old Firm one, but it's rightly so with the size of it. But I think the players in Park like they've been miffed. There have been some bad ones in the past. Today was a cracking match. Now that the run was over, Gordon Hunter scoring the last time. Both teams have come and played a lot of good football. It was a great game today. And as I say, we're delighted to get a point. A bit harsh on Hibs, maybe about being so late, but as I said, maybe we're a piece of a fair result.
And were you aware that that was the scoring record, 184 goals?
Yeah, of course, but it's more important it's a point, and it saved us a long, hard week for our fans.
And stopping that run of bad results, so it worked going away for a few days?
Yeah, it worked. There's no doubt about it. Everybody was a bit flat Monday. A couple of days away with the troops, and Pat knows the same. You go away, you get together, you gel the squad, and the fighting spirit was there for everybody to see.
So John, you're quite happy?
Yeah.
For you, Pat?
Gutted.
You're gutted right at the end. Aye. Okay, Pat, John, thanks very much. Thanks for a great tie here at Easter Road this afternoon. Back up to you.
Happy and gutted. 2-2 it finished. We will take a short break now, but do join us again for full-time analysis from Craig and Steve and all the reaction from Easter Road. Welcome back. 2-2 at Easter Road. Some finish, wasn't it, Steve?
Definitely what we decided at half-time was going to be a cracking second half, and it was. Hibs have played good football. They've used the advantage of the wind and the slope and got themselves into great position. Hearts have clawed themselves back. After a foolish incident and going a man down, they've taken, I would say, more out of the game than Hibs did.
Yeah, that was significant. We'll see that sending off shortly. But obviously, whatever Miller said at half-time worked, Craig, because Hibs came out fighting, and Gareth Evans went close right away at the start of the second half.
That's right, yeah. But Steve and I talked about half-time, how the slope would make a difference, and I think it's Hibs' favourite way of shooting. And right as you see here, right at the start of the game, was very unlucky across the face of the goalkeeper.
It was a good strike.
Yeah, it certainly was. He was unlucky, it didn't sneak in at the back post there.
And Gareth Evans gets into a lot of great positions, and he's got magnificent pace. I think if he could just get a good finish on the end of his good work, he'd be worth millions.
He'd be a much better player, I'm sure. Graham Donald got them back into it, though, Steve, and it was a good equaliser, wasn't it? And they deserved it, to be fair.
Yeah, again from Evans. It's a nice ball through to Evans. Evans pace again. Does terrifically well here, gets a final flick, but the finish is tremendous. That's a really tight angle.
That's a bouncing ball as well, and sometimes it's difficult to control those. Yeah, I thought he stuck away very well.
And it's a young boy. You've got to give him bags of credit for that. Terrific goal.
1-1 at that stage. And then, Craig, to be fair to Hearts, they fought their way back into this match, and they scored what they thought was a legitimate goal, but it was chalked off. What did you make of it?
Yeah, at first I thought
yourself.
At first I thought Jim had run under the ball, but I think if you look closely at this, John Miller has challenged him, and I think one of the angles you can see that he's definitely got his elbow on top of him and keeping Jim down. So at first I was a bit miffed, but I think you can see that it's probably just a foul there.
Yeah, I think it was fair, Steve. Yeah,
Jim was definitely blocked, yeah.
What about Gary Mackay? What was he doing? I mean, was this
crazy
intentional stamping, do you think?
I wouldn't call it a stamp, I don't think. I mean, I don't know what he was trying to do, but he definitely didn't lift his foot high enough to stamp. But it looks like he's trailed his studs down Gareth Evans' body, and I don't see the reason for it. I think it's crazy.
If we can get the right angle, we'll see it. But for a player of his experience, and we'll see it here, a player of his experience, it's definitely deliberate. Yeah. For his experience to do that is unforgivable.
Well, that's right, because he let his teammates down, and then Hibs came back into it and went 2-1 up through Pat McGinley.
Yeah, it could have been the decisive factor, but luckily Hearts fought their way and clawed their way back. But there it is, and Hibs had themselves in that winning position. And I think if they're a little bit, back to that word composure again, if they're a little bit more composure in the last 10 minutes of the game, they would have won the game.
Composure, Steve.
Yes.
Composure.
I feel they gave it away needlessly.
Yeah.
In the wrong areas. When they were under no pressure, they gave it away needlessly. And I think the desperation of Hearts.
Absolutely.
They get caught on Hearts' desperation, and that composure was missing.
Well, Jerry said so rightly, anything can happen when Robertson's in the box, and it did, and he scored.
That's right, it's a good little flick in, and I think it's flicked up in the air there by Robbo. But you see he's turned and he's waiting for anything to drop to him. And if you give him a ball in there, he'll score goals.
Yeah. This is an abiding memory for me, Jim, when through my time at Hibs, the wee man was always there or thereabouts, sticking them away in the last minute, the first minute, he was always there.
And he did it again, 2-2. Well, we'll take another break now, but do join us again for highlights of the Old Firm clash, and give us your views on the game on the Scott Sport Forum live from Easter Road. Call us now on 0500 404 000, and remember, the calls are free. Welcome back, 2-2 at Easter Road. Well, the Old Firm met yesterday for the second time in 11 days at Parkhead. For Celtic, it was a chance for them to gain revenge for their Coca-Cola Cup defeat at the hands of Rangers. For the Ibrox men, top spot in the Premier League was a prize for victory. Celtic almost got off to a flyer in this one. Gorham struggling there to hold Van Hooydonk's free kick, but when Tom crossed for Vata, the Rangers keeper saved well. Now, it wouldn't be an Old Firm game without a moment of controversy, and this one was no different. Vata caught in possession in his own area when he should have cleared the danger. Now, he forced Gordon Marshall into a good save, but Hughes then clearly played the ball back to his goalkeeper. Indirect free kick Rangers. Somehow Petrich's shot was cleared. As had been the case in the recent encounter, Celtic had most of the possession while Rangers created most of the chances. This time Solenko set up Gascoigne, whose shot was saved by Marshall. Then Ferguson gave the building site the ball. But 1 minute before the break, Rangers went ahead. And again Solenko was involved. His cross found Alex Cleland, whose downward header beat Gordon Marshall to give Rangers the half-time lead. He was happy about that one, all right. With Celtic pushing for an equaliser, they were always in danger of being caught in the break, and that's exactly what happened. McCoist to Gascoigne. 2-0. How Gascoigne enjoyed his first Premier League goal. Celtic tried to retrieve the situation, but Gorham was in outstanding form to deny Van Hooijdonk. But it was Rangers who looked the more likely to score in the later stages of this match. McCoy slipping past 3 defenders, and his shot wasn't too far away there. In the last minute, Cleland went looking for his second of the afternoon, but Marshall came to Celtic's rescue. Still, Rangers ran out comfortable winners. Well, it was Derby Day on Tayside as well yesterday. For the first time, the teams were meeting with both Dundee and United First Division clubs, but the action certainly looked a cut above.
This is one Tayside derby that will be remembered as the Billy McKinlay show, but it was young Andy McLaren who was involved in the early stages, winning a penalty for United. A crazy tackle there, a clumsy one from Neil Duffy. And the penalty for United. Up steps Billy McKinlay, the Scotland international makes no mistake. At the other end, Neil McCann's corner causing problems. Ali Maxwell saving there from Duffy. Shaw could have scored. Another Neil McCann corner, and more problems for United. Paul Tosh with the header, Jim Bett clearing off the line. Andy McLaren again causing difficulties on the left. Michel Pajot though doing enough to keep out the shot. And now a contender for this month's Soft Penalty Award. Paul Tosh attempting to cross. The referee says it struck an arm. Penalty kick. Malpass surely had no chance to get out of the road. A bad decision by referee Jim McGilvery. Malpass can't believe it. but the referee said that was a penalty. Jim Hamilton steps forwards. 1-1. Into the second half, and just watch Neil McCann go. His pace too much for the United defence. And a cracking drive coming up. And a good stop from Ali Maxwell. But it was time now for Dundee United to take full control of the derby. A candidate for goal of the season now from Billy McKinlay. 25 yards out. Wow, 2-1. 10 minutes later, he made it 3. Help again, this time from Winters. And McKinlay firing past the goalkeeper to make it a 3-1 margin. But Dundee struck again, just a minute later. Again the corner kick causing problems. Jim Hamilton getting in touch and just firing it past Ali Maxwell. But it finished, the honours going to United, 3-2.
Great action there. Well, First Division leaders Dunfermline suffered a setback last week, beaten 2-0 at Capello by an improving Morton side. They were seeking to return to winning ways yesterday at home to St Johnstone.
There's a lot of interest in how Dunfermline are doing right now, but Kenny Dalglish and Jim Jeffries were only watching one man. That's him, youngster Jackie McNamara. Remember, Celtic tried to sign him last week, but it's the Perth side who are grabbing the attention and looking liveliest early on. How did John O'Neill miss that one? Another Saints attack. Philip Scott shot, and Van de Kamp punching that one away. The Fifers moved forward. Mark McCulloch used his head, or was it his back? And that one just past Main's post. 12 minutes on the clock and the opener for St Johnstone. Kevin Twaddle sent in the cross, and ex-East End Park hero Georgia Boyle fired home. That was 1, and they almost made it 2. Alan Preston's free kick bending past the post. The man of the moment gave Kenny Dalglish something to think about. His cross-come shot almost providing an equaliser. Going close there, and from the corner kick, Greg Shaw's header was put over his own bar by Gary Farker, and no wonder he was the main man for his goalkeeper. Another corner, and again that man Farker in the line, this time denying Ivo Den Beeman. The Blackburn and Hearts spies were again reaching for their notepads. A 1-2 with Petrie, and McNamara hitting the side netting. He looks a player all right, though. At the interval, Dunfermline 0, St Johnstone 1. Into the second half and controversy as Danny Griffin is hacked down late by Norrie McCarthy. Amazingly, no foul is given and Dunfermline go forward in numbers. Paul Caird shoots down the wing. His cross is met by Craig Robertson. David Irons makes a clearance on the line. Shaw has a dig. So does McNamara. Out of play in the end. Now, Peterhead referee Simpson knows all about it from the furious Saints players. Let's have another look at the unpunished foul. He won't be looking forward to the supervisor's report on that one. After last week's first league defeat, Dunfermline were desperate not to drop any more points. Den Beeman's cross and Stuart Petrie finished it off. 1 each. The Pars fans delighted, and with just 3 minutes to go, St Johnstone were hit by a sucker punch. Greg Shaw firing home McNamara's cross. The point staying at East End Park. Dunfermline 2, St Johnstone 1.
So Dunfermline still clear at the top of the First Division. Hibs this afternoon looked as though they were going to be second position in the Premier League, but Jerry and Charlie, it wasn't to be. Jerry, just in that last minute, John Robertson, he's done so much damage against Hibs over the years.
Yeah, well, you ignored John Robertson at your peril, and certainly looked as though Hibs had done enough. Hearts earlier in the game played really well. Hibs had come back into it, but he does it again. As I said, his 23rd goal against Hibernian down through the years. He's broken Willie Bald's record. That's his 184th league goal. You know, he's a superb little player. He was a bit fortunate this afternoon. He was getting involved again in off-the-ball situations, and maybe because of his height, he gets away with it.
Yeah, Charlie, he could have been punished. Gary Mackay going off, and maybe John Robertson might have had some trouble earlier on.
Yeah, highlighted again. I think the cameras are showing little Robbo getting excited and throwing his weight about. But I think he dug in today, worked hard, he was fighting his cause. A little bit silly at times, but as Jerry says, I think he even called it today. It was going to be Robbo who was going to score, and as it happens, he gets it again.
And we saw that contrast at the end, Charlie. Pat McGinley delighted, and John Robertson... he was gutted, in fact, and John Robertson delighted. They must be disappointed.
Quite rightly so. I mean, Hibs' second half, they upped the pace, what they had to do. They scored 2 good goals, and probably should have scored more, because Hearts with 10 men were wide open. But they didn't take advantage of it, and there's Robertson pops up and does the business again.
How did that compare for you with an Old Firm derby?
Obviously not the same passion, same type of football, 100 mile an hour, and you need to take advantage of it when you get time. But obviously, the bigger crowd makes a difference.
Jerry, a crucial point was the ordering off of Gary Mackay, and as you were mentioning, he really didn't need to get involved.
He didn't. He wasn't even involved in the incident. You'll see it here, and he ends up stamping on the Hibs player. And, you know, again, I made the point last week about Peter Grant and John Robertson. You're not dealing here with young players who don't know any better. You're dealing here with a senior professional footballer, who's been at Hearts for 15 years and should know better.
Right, our first caller is from Edinburgh. Stuart Webster's on the line. Stuart, good afternoon. Stuart, what's your point about the game? Well, I think actually I know he was wanting to ask about John Robertson, and could he help them now, Charlie, out of their current difficulty? He certainly helped them this afternoon.
Oh, he certainly does that. He'll score goals, John Robertson. We all know that. He's, for me, he played quite well again today. Dug in, he held the ball up well for his size, and obviously people are now saying about his pace. But Robbo's never been the quickest. But there are obviously a lot of mystery surrounding this guy just now. There seems to be that Hearts might let him go, and clubs are interested. It's going to be interesting in the next couple of weeks.
Right, well, Noel Harper's on the line now in Glasgow, of course, the big derby there yesterday. Noel, good afternoon. What's your point?
I'd like a point to Jerry, please. It's about the article that appeared in the Sunday Mail today about the sale of John Collins. Evidently, it's stated by Mark Giddy that it's possible that Mr McCann would only give Tommy Burns £1 million from the sale of John Collins. I think, I'm quite annoyed at this, I think that basically the fans have put up their money for building the stadium and everything else, have put money into the share issue and everything, Jerry, and I think that any sale of players at Celtic Park should be ploughed back into buying new players for the manager.
Well, my understanding is that the manager feels that he will get only £1 million of whatever John Collins pulls in. And I don't think that's good enough. I think if he's selling the player, he should be able to reinvest that money immediately. Celtic, there's no doubt, have problems in finishing their stadium. They're still looking to raise the money. Now, I don't want to knock Fergus McCann here. He's only been in the job a year and a half. But what he's got to look at now, I think, is that does it matter if Fergus McCann is the major man at the club? Is it time, perhaps, to bring in fresh monies? And even if he has to share the power a bit more or give up the power or whatever, this is now about Celtic Football Club. Celtic have come through a very difficult spell. And they have made progress, and Fergus McCann should be praised for that. But I think there are people out there who still have money to bring in, and I think that's something that has to be looked at. And again, I keep saying that Celtic have got to be honest with their fans. They've got to be forthright with their fans. I don't think they were initially over the John Collins thing. John Collins wasn't either. And, through the club newspaper always seems to be 2 or 3 weeks behind with what it's saying. Let them give the fans the facts, because you've just rightly pointed out, you guys are putting in record money through season tickets and through shares, and you deserve more information and better information.
I think we've got another Celtic call coming on. Stephen Cameron in Glasgow. Stephen, hello there.
I put my point, I'd just like to wish Charlie all the best at Clyde. You've got a special place in Celtic's heart.
There you are, Charles.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Appreciated.
Jerry, I think you'll hang with this. Do you think Tommy Burns made a mistake at putting John Collins into the Old Firm game yesterday after all the euphoria during the week?
Well, I think he certainly took a chance in not playing him against Hearts the previous week, and the Celtic players responded. I think if Tommy had left him out yesterday, John Collins has a very good record against Rangers. He's played some superb games against them. Obviously, carries a threat from set pieces. And I think if Tommy had left him out yesterday, he was taking a bit of a chance. But I think that was a watershed. I think when you looked at the Celtic midfield yesterday, it was found wanting. I've said all along that Paul McStay and John Collins should not be in the same midfield. And Paul Gascoigne, who's a fine player, I think was made to look even better yesterday. His passing ability just took those players right out of the game. And Tommy Burns knows that midfield has to be changed, and John Collins will certainly go. Again, I just feel sorry that guys like you were misled for a couple of weeks. As usual, I had to take it in the neck, but I was proved to be correct.
Do you think he shying out of 50-50 balls in case he get an injury and ruined his big-time deal?
Well, that's always a chance you take. But I think the important thing now is that this is resolved as quickly as possible. John Collins moves on, Celtic get the money and reinvest it in someone that wants to play for the club.
Charlie, in fairness, he's a professional player, and I think he would be giving his all, wouldn't he?
Oh, of course he would. He's a professional with a good attitude, John Collins. As soon as he was picked, I think he would have been surprised yesterday to play against Rangers. But in saying that, it's an opportunity that John must take. He must put in a good performance when he gets these chances now, and take advantage of it. And it's a disappointing result, and now Tommy's got to make a decision.
OK, Craig McQueen's on the line now, I think, from Glasgow. A point about Gaza. Craig, good afternoon.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, after Gaza's performance on Wednesday and yesterday, I think it's about time the fans and the media got off his back.
What, you think the media's on his back?
Yeah, after the publicity he's been getting.
But I mean, everywhere Gaza went when he signed for Rangers, the media were there, and surely that was positive publicity for Rangers.
Yeah, but it was unfair on the player himself, and he was moaning about that.
Do you not think, though, that the player could help himself? And we all know he's a quality player, and he played particularly well yesterday. I would say he played well last Wednesday night. I wouldn't go overboard about that. And as I said earlier, I thought he was made to look even better by the Celtic midfield yesterday. He shows he's a magnificent passer of the ball. If he can get a certain level of fitness back, of course he'll do very well for Rangers. But Paul Gascoigne's out to learn as well. He can't have it both ways. He can't be appearing on page 1 of a newspaper dressed up as William Wallace with the face painted blue and white and the sword and the shield and all the rest of it. And also he's got to deal with the newspaper. I don't knock him for that at all. He's entitled to make his living. But you can't come out on the one hand and say, I don't want anything to do with the media, and at the same time, when it suits you, you jump in the bandwagon.
Yeah, but it's the fans as well. I think he's done well. Stuart McCall's come back into the team, and I think he links up well with him. Yeah. And I think it's just about getting the fans stop knocking him, and I think he's proved that Walter Smith made a good signing with him.
Charlie, I'll tell you what, I bet you wouldn't mind his boot deal that he signed last week.
No.
I don't like those boots anyway, Paul. No, I think the caller's right. I think Stuart McCall and Gascoigne are a better balance, because it gives Gascoigne a bit more scope to go and get hold of the ball. And McCall, I mean, he's been out, what, 3-4 weeks, maybe a bit more. In the 2 games he's came back, he seemed outstanding, looks fresh, and I think they two look the best pairing.
Right, next caller is from Skelmerley, Neil Lochiel. Neil, good afternoon. Welcome to Easter Road. What's your point?
Good afternoon, thank you. My point's about the treatment of fans at Love Street yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Now, I fully accept, if you want to ensure you're in time for the kick-off, you should arrive at the ground earlier than I did yesterday, which was 10 minutes before so.
Yeah.
However, having done so, I don't think I should have been expected to wait 40 minutes to get in.
40 minutes?
40 minutes, 3:30 in the pouring rain.
Are you a Morton fan?
I am indeed, yes.
So you missed the early goal from Hawke?
I missed 3 early goals yesterday.
Yeah, Lily as well.
Now, St Mirren, it's a superb new stand they've got. They knew Morton were going to have a large travelling support. Now, why I wonder is, when they have these new turnstiles, the new stand, why didn't everything be open in time for the fans going through?
Well, there's not a lot we can say, Jerry, except that that does seem a kind of raw deal for Neil coming along. 40 minutes to wait.
Absolutely. I mean, it's difficult when you're not there and you haven't witnessed it. It's difficult to comment on it. But I think generally throughout Scottish football that the clubs have to make a bigger effort. I made a point earlier on today that I asked the steward to get a police officer for me last week because of the behaviour of a couple of Hearts fans at Tynecastle, and he disappeared and never come back. And you know, I think the stewarding has to be a lot better, and I think the policing has to be a lot better. We've got a situation now where the police are not really in among the fans the way they should be. It's left to stewards who can't really react to situations. And I think that the game in general has to look at the treatment of fans, the policing of fans, and try and make this a better atmosphere for everyone, because that's not happening. We've heard from Bob Fleeting in recent weeks about the hassle he's taking. Of course, fans should have the chance to voice their opinion, but they must do it within reason. And there has to be a general look at, you know, the opening of turnstiles. There was a problem at Brockville recently as well. Let's have a general look at this.
OK, another call from Edinburgh. It's Stuart Webster this time. Stuart, hello, I think we've got you now. I think we have. Hello, Stuart. Well, we haven't. No luck with him, Charlie. You'd love that problem, of course, at Broadwood, to have the problem of fans coming and waiting for such a long time. You're trying to get them to come back to Clyde.
Yeah, of course. That's the priority of all the smaller clubs now, especially when they're giving so much money into their stadium. But, I mean, a lot of these clubs got to realise that they're not always full. So why do they create problems for themselves? I mean, even at Clyde sometimes with very little away supporters, but to get them in and let them in and just enjoy the game.
So, Charlie, it's been quite a weekend. The Old Firm derby yesterday, all the other games. Rangers top of the table again.
Yep.
Hibs losing the chance to go second. Your old club Aberdeen doing well.
Yep.
And you enjoy it this afternoon?
Thoroughly enjoyed it. I've seen 7 Premier clubs now in the first 6 weeks of the season, and every one of them has been a real good game. 7 exciting sides, and so far so good.
Jerry, you're even smiling sometimes these days, better than last season.
Yes, it's getting better, and as clubs get more money to spend on players, hopefully it'll get even better. But Hibs, I think, can have a good season. They did well this afternoon, but get caught at the death.
OK, thanks to Jerry and to Charlie for the coverage this afternoon. Hope you've enjoyed it. Back to Jim in Glasgow.
Jerry's smiling. Well, now time for our Goal of the Month competition. You can win a Bells League manager's jacket and a match ball if you agree with our panel and pick out the best goal of this bunch.
Goal number 1 is David Hagan for Hearts against Motherwell. Number 2, Scott Booth for Aberdeen against Falkirk. Number 3, Ali McCoist against Wraith Rovers for Rangers. Four, Phil O'Donnell's strike for Celtic against Motherwell. Number 5, Darren Jackson for Hibs against Aberdeen. And 6, Colin Woodthorpe for Aberdeen against Kilmarnock. Number 7, Brian McLaughlin's solo efforts for Celtic against Hearts. And finally number 8, Paul Gascoigne for Rangers against Celtic. So those are the 8 Goal of the Month candidates. All you have to do is choose the one you think is best and phone its individual number. It's shown beside the player's name. Goal 1, David Hagan. 2, Scott Booth. 3, Ali McCoist. 4, Phil O'Donnell. 5, Darren Jackson. 6, Colin Woodthorpe. 7, Brian McLaughlin. And Goal 8, Gazza's from yesterday at Parkhead.
And we'll announce the winner next week. And that brings us to the end of the first Scott Sport Live League match of the season. We'll be back with you as usual next Saturday at 12:30 on Extra Time. And we'll have all the Premier League action and First Division highlights on Sunday on Scott Sport at 2. 2-2 it finished at Easter Road. From us, bye for now.